Today, we're picking our favourite games from the 20s so far. We're halfway through the decade, but what have been the best games? Let's find out right here on the Late Night Gamer podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 54 of the Late Night Gamer podcast. Your place for late night laughs, hot takes, and video game reviews. I paused because we're pre-recording this one. It's actually going out next week, so I had to make sure it's the right episode number. I think it is. It's 53 or 54. I'm your host, Welchy, and joining me tonight are Mr. Pop Figures himself, Andy.
Yeah, hello guys. Happy to be back, and I can't believe you saying that number there. I was like, bloody hell, we've done that many already. Like whether it's 53 or 54, it's like I feel like it's jumped from like 10, 20, all of a sudden we're over 50. It's like, wow, let's go.
Yeah, it's a lot. If it was every week, obviously we've had a couple of weeks where it's not been. It's obviously over a year now worth of weeks. But yeah, we're way past a year of the podcast anyway. And we're also joined by our resident horror expert, Stephen.
Yes, hello guys, nice to be back once more. And before you know it, we're going to blink and we're going to be at episode 100, so it will flash.
Hopefully
And
around
it
this
has-
time next year, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just gone so quickly. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. We'll be talking about some insane games today.
Yes, obviously we've done all. This is basically it. After today, we're caught up from 1990 all the way to this year, essentially. It's been really fun. I like doing these. We're not doing a what we've been playing section at the end because one, Andy is talking about his games in tomorrow's recording, which is releasing last week if you're listening now, which is very confusing. And same with me, Expedition 33, and Stephen hasn't been playing much, he's been watching more. So we're just gonna, and these episodes often go on a bit long anyway, just because of the nature of them.
Yeah.
So you're still getting a full length episode. It's just no what we've been playing section because we've already spoke about it basically.
It gives me more time to play Mafia
And,
and
yeah.
all of the other craziness that is going on with me at the moment. So yeah, it's really confusing there because we're sort of talking about what's happening now to be released in the future, and sometimes I don't even know what's going on in the present. So you know.
Speaking of
We
the
move.
present though, we do need to do a quick update on the Fantasy Critic game.
Oh
Because
yeah,
Stephen,
yeah.
one of your games is released. Finally, one of
Yeah.
your games is released. Obviously,
Not sure
One
if
of
it's
his
a
own
good thing
games.
or a bad thing.
Mafia, the Old Country. Obviously, Andy has reviewed it. If you're listening, he's reviewed it last week, which is so weird to say. It was on your list. I think, it's one of the ones you picked from the get-go, not one you bought.
Yeah, it was.
It's your highest rated game so far.
Yay.
Oh my god,
I
I know what it got. So
an open critic of 77. So it got you 7 points.
See, that sounds really positive, but it's not really. And you compare it to the other one. Although I haven't
it's
got
positive
zero,
when you
it's
compare it
still
to the rest
weird.
of your games.
Yeah.
So Atomfall was 75 with 5 points. And
Yeah.
Splitgate 2 has finished on a 70 with 0. But that game is now unreleased.
Oh.
They have unreleased Splitgate 2 as far as I'm concerned. Or they've gone back to beta. They've gone back to beta mode.
Yeah.
So that game
That's
just
mental.
I'm surprised it's got as high as 70, let me put it that way. And yeah, the other games haven't released yet. Ghost of Yotei is going to be your big one. Unless it
Yeah.
really fucks up somehow, but I don't think it's going to, obviously.
If it is, I'm not playing this game next year. I'm sitting out.
Every other one of your games isn't coming out.
No.
Grand
that
Theft
was
Auto 6,
crazy.
obviously. Well, unless somehow, somewhere, Forza Horizon gets announced, but I think that's unlikely now.
Yeah.
Same with Marvel's Wolverine, and obviously we know Directive 8020 has been delayed.
That is bad.
Yeah, all right. Thanks,
It's
Andy. We get
unfortunate.
it.
It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
Andy, yours is you've only got 2 games left. Oh no, 3 games left. Sorry. So
Yeah.
you're waiting on Metroid Prime 4, which hasn't got a date yet. I'd be worried.
It still says 2025 at the moment.
It does. Venom, I think you've lost
Yeah.
one there, and Silent Hill F, which I don't know if you saw the previews. The previews are saying it could be the best one ever.
Yeah, I did see an article on it saying there was a lot of praise around it. So.
Yeah.
But I'm also seeing a lot of articles saying some of the combat is similar to like Souls games.
Yes, I saw the
I'm
same
like,
thing.
I don't know how well that will go down, but yeah, how true that is, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but Andy's done annoyingly quite well with his choices.
I've obviously Welchy's done better, but I've picked up towards my later games
Yeah,
that have dropped. And Donkey Kong obviously done really well. Me picking that up, and then hopefully Silent Hill,
yeah.
another late entry,
I
hopefully
hope
as
Silent Hill
well.
doesn't have the same like combat relating to Souls games. That doesn't
I
sound very
think they're probably
appealing.
comparing it. I can't imagine it's like a Souls game. It's probably just similar-ish, like
Mm,
some elements, but
yeah,
it
sure.
seems to be the in thing now, isn't it? Is to have Souls-like elements in your game.
Mm.
Yeah,
You say that, Andy. Death Stranding got you 90 or 20 points.
yeah.
A
Obviously, Death
great
Stranding as
choice.
well. And then there
Oh,
was another game in there done well as well.
Doom of
Wasn't
Dark
there?
Ages got 86.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
And I still think Metroid Prime could easily get 90 or maybe just below. So you're on
if it
for and Silent
releases.
Hill. You're on for a. I'm
They're
not.
slow
Yeah,
It's not
choices.
over yet. It's not over yet.
it's it's not over yet. But
You're
I could
I
still
only.
come
think I,
back.
the
Well, I
only
don't know
issue
about
is, well, you're out, Stephen. But the only
Yeah, I
issue
know I'm
is
out.
I need one of your games to do bad, Welchy, I think, to have a chance. And I can't remember what they are, but I know they're all solid games. So I was like,
Yeah. So you've had two more games released than I have. So you're only
yeah,
3 points behind me. But obviously, I've got two games in hand essentially. I've
yeah,
got Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is very soon. I think the same week as Gears Reloaded. Um, Mario platformer. I, it's looking highly unlikely now that that's going to
yeah,
happen. Ninja Gaiden 4, which by the way, the previews again are through the roof on that game at the moment.
yeah. And there was another Ninja Gaiden game that came out. I don't know what
Rage
it
Bound.
was,
It's more of a 2D one.
but that done pretty well. So
Yeah.
I'd say that gives you high hopes for number
Yeah.
4,
Hollow Knight Silk Song, which
and that usually does well.
it's one of those games which has been announced like it feels like forever ago, and apparently it's coming out this year with the Xbox handheld. It's meant to launch
Oh,
on that.
okay.
So I'm hopeful that's going to actually release, which is why I picked it in the end or bought it. And then Outer Worlds 2, which
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that I'll do at least 80 something. So I'm happy. A Mario platformer would seal me the win, like without a doubt, but I don't think I'm going to get that.
No, it's funny
Yeah.
because all the games that we chose, like unreleased games, haven't
Yeah,
come out.
but
I think yours was more likely, but
yes, yeah. I mean,
because I chose
I
Venom.
think I picked Mario Kart, but I don't know if I bought that one actually. I can't remember.
No, I think you picked Mario Kart at the beginning because I went to buy it and then I was like, why
Oh
didn't let me buy it? And
yes, yeah,
you already had it. So then obviously I went for Donkey Kong. But
yeah. All to play for, but hopefully I've got enough coming to see me through.
I was thinking
have
note
you
to self.
checked the?
Go on.
Sorry, I was just going to say, have you checked the scores on the Metacritic game? Because obviously Mafia was one of our games on that as well.
Oh, you are correct. Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
I would also say note to self that I'm going to learn the buying mechanics of that
Yeah,
as well.
that
To
was
kind
one
of
of your
screw
main.
myself up, yeah, from the
You
get-go,
would have
really.
you would have at least been able to switch some of your games out if you
Yeah.
hadn't spent all your money on. I can't
Yes.
remember what it was, but
Oh, it's Directive 20 and
Yeah, it wasn't.
what was the other one?
um, I'm not sure.
I can't
I was
remember. It was something else that didn't do well, obviously.
Stephen was like, I wanted to put more money on it in case I went for it, but no, I don't think anyone else bid for it, and you spent all your money on it.
No. I blame Fantasy Football for it. I thought, you didn't lose all of your budget or it came back if you, yeah, no. Lessons to be learned for next year.
So on Metacritic, so fortunately for you, Stephen, OpenCritic is actually 1 point higher. So in the critic game, you get an extra point. On
Hey.
Metacritic, it's at 76. I predicted 83, so I get my first minus points.
Oh,
So I'm 7 points away, so I get -2. That's not good.
that's
Andy,
good because I think I was close.
Andy, you picked 78, so you're only 2 away, so you get 1 extra
Oh,
point.
let's go.
Stephen,
What, give
You're
it
like 89 or so.
you said 90.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
god.
Really?
Yeah. So because that is more than 10 away, you get -5 on that one.
That is
Uh,
crazy.
Jack went 80, so he's 4 away, which just gets him 0.
Why did I think 90? Geez,
She's really
I'm
holding
really,
it when we talk about it.
I'm really looking forward to playing it. So I think when I saw the attractions for it, and then the fact that they're going back to their roots, I was like, well, that's going to hit with all the fans. That's going to be a high '90s game. What an idiot! Oh, honestly, if there was an award for worst predictions in both of these games, I'm winning it by
Well,
such a landslide.
Yeah, you're
talk
quite
about
a way
awards.
behind. You're quite a way behind at the
So I
moment.
dare ask, how when you say quite a way behind,
Well,
what we talking points
You was
wise?
already on minus, I think.
you was on -12, you're now on -17.
Oh,
Oh,
fantastic!
Your closest is Jack on -8, so you're 9 away from third.
cool.
Then Andy on second place with 2 points, which sounds
Yeah.
silly, but it's because all yours have been like either zeros, ones, twos,
Yeah.
-1s, all not roughly in the ballpark actually. And I got lucky with one of them being bang on, so I'm on 7.
Cool. And how many games we got left?
Well, we
Left
need
for it?
to,
I know
when
we
Jack's
had
back
one
on at some
delayed.
point, we need to
Yeah.
get rid of Directive 8020 again
Yeah.
and add in something else.
Maybe Silent Hill.
We've done that one.
Oh, we've done that.
We did that
Okay.
last time. So
Oh,
we
yeah,
added
right.
Silent
Yeah, I
Hill
remember
and
that, yeah.
Pokemon Legends.
Maybe
Yeah.
like Black Ops 7 potentially.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's always
or
risky.
Battlefield 6 maybe. That's
Yeah,
more of
one of those.
that's a good idea actually. But we've got Dying Light the Beast if that launches, Borderlands 4, Ghost of Yotei, Silent
Yeah.
Hill, Pokemon. So there's still a good
I'm
chunk.
pretty sure Dying Light is on track to be
Okay,
released on the day that they've said.
cool. Well, let's go into our topic, shall we? Well, before we go into our topic, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, this is the Late Night Gamer podcast. We drop new episodes every week, typically on a Thursday. If you enjoy the podcast, then please do consider following or subscribing on your favorite podcast service, and also leave a rating, as that really helps support the podcast. You can follow us on all major socials with the handle @TheLNGPod, and you can join our Discord using the link in the podcast description if you want to chat movies, TV shows, and video games. If you're listening or watching on Spotify, you can now leave comments on there too. And of course, our podcast is now available on YouTube if that is your platform of choice. Be sure to also check out the LNG Pod on Twitch. Speaking of Twitch, our content schedule for the week beginning 18th of August looks like this. Tuesday, you would have had our top movies from 2005 to 2009. It's a really fun episode. And again, on Thursday, you're getting our top games, but this time from 2020 to 2024, which is this episode, obviously, we're talking about now. In terms of Twitch streams, it's hard for me to tell you what I'm going to be doing next week. I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but there will be streams around like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday mark. And it's Sword of the Sea is next week. So I'll probably be playing Sword of the Sea, which releases on the Tuesday, I believe, the 19th. So look out for that. And I'll be recording my review of that. If you two play it, you can obviously chip in with your reviews, but if not, obviously still come along. Sword of the Sea review. Actually, that week will probably be Stephen's Mafia review as well.
Oh, cool.
And finally, this episode is sponsored by Dubby Energy Drinks. Dubby have a wide range of different flavored energy drinks to choose from, and even have some caffeine-free options. If you want an energy drink for your long gaming sessions, then you can get a 10% discount on all Dubby products by using the code TheLNGPod at checkout. That's the LNGPod for a 10% discount. Okay, obviously we've been doing our Spotify playlist for the last couple of weeks, and we're going to continue that. Yes, we're going to continue that tonight with each of us going to bring one. So we had 3 songs in there. After today, we're going to have 6, a bit of a better playlist. Still want more than that, but 6 is a good chunk. So let's start with Stephen. What song are you adding to the playlist?
So, I mean, I had 3 options because I was thinking we would bring 3 to the table. So I'm just now going to have to pick one of my
Oh my
3.
God.
I over prepared for that. I am going to pick one though that stems from Call of Duty Warzone, which is funny enough what we're going to be speaking about in topic of the week. I'm going with A Flock of Seagulls I Ran, and there is a very specific reason why. I'm in love with this song, and it is one of the best songs I think I've ever heard. But I heard it first ever time in Warzone in one of the trucks. They had like those 80s playlist library loop jams that you could buy, and then they would play. So there was like Kids in America as one, Toto's Africa, and then this was playing. And I remember going to like Andy and our other friend James, we were playing, going, I love that song. what is that song? I've never heard it before, and yeah, it's synonymous with everyone that knows me knows how much I love that song. I even went to see the band live, and we found them live in like Tunbridge Wells just because of that song alone. They're a great band. They've got loads of great 80s style synth type songs, but Iran is by far their most signature track, and it's great that video games brought me a song that I'll be playing till my dying day. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Cool. Yeah, I've just searched it, found it, and added it to the playlist. I don't know that one personally, so I'll have to give that a listen later on. Andy, what are you bringing to the table? I know what you're bringing to the table, but let us know what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, so mine is a song from a game that I've completed recently. It is from Expedition 33, and it is a song called Alicia. And yeah, it's just a song that's chucked in straight at the start of the game and just gets you really immersed in the experience. And it's just, even though I don't understand, like, obviously the words, the music, like, it's just so, I don't even know how to describe it. It's
epic,
just so
isn't it?
beautiful.
It's epic.
Yeah, just listening to that music while going through the game, it's like incredible. And they literally have it throughout the game,
It's
along with
the
other
menu
music
music
as
as well.
well. Yeah, yeah. So every time I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, I love it.
Is it like a
I love
peaceful
it.
piece of music?
Yeah,
Peaceful, but it
I'd
builds up
say,
as well. It's very good.
yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like therapy music to me. The way it just
Okay.
like, it's so relaxing, but the
It's
way it
French
works
as
in the
well.
game
We
as
should
well.
say this is a
Yeah.
French developer, French characters, even though they speak English in the game for us.
Yeah.
It's obviously based in France as well. Well,
Yeah.
I don't even.
Yeah, it is.
It kind of is. We'll
Yeah.
go into that tomorrow in the spoilers, but yeah, it's all French, and the songs are French as well. Sticking with the theme, I'm going Expedition 33 as well.
That's what you like.
And a song called Lumiere, which to
Yeah.
me is the
Yeah.
soundtrack of. I know your one is actually the kind of menu music, but Lumiere I hear all the way through the game as well.
I think
guess
the music is pretty similar. Like
some parts
all the
are,
songs are pretty similar.
but there was once it was between this and another one, and I chose this one even though the other one is actually the music you have in a particular fight scene. So when you're in the flying waters, do you remember that part of the game? It's like you look like you're
Yeah.
underwater, but you're not, and you are.
Yeah.
The fight music in that whole area is unbelievably like calming, but also
Yeah.
cool. Like it's hard to explain, but it was my favorite kind of music in a fight. Generic fights. Obviously, some of the boss fights had insane music, but like when you're just fighting normal enemies,
Yeah.
I was so close to picking that one because I fucking loved that. But I thought I'd go with what I think a lot of people would consider R2 probably the best two of the soundtrack.
I think there's a lot of good
There's
choices
loads, yeah.
from Expedition, and I'll be surprised if they don't win some sort of music award this year from how great it was.
We'll go into that in tomorrow's recording and last week's
Yeah.
podcast. But yeah, cool. We're now on 6 songs. So we've got Where We Come From Spider-Man Miles Morales, Heat Waves from FIFA.
Yeah.
I Am Astrobot, obviously from Astrobot or Playroom. Lumiere and Alicia from Expedition, and Iran from Warzone. So a nice mix of games, obviously 2 from one game there, but cool. We'll keep adding to this, and eventually or soon we'll be asking for you guys listening or watching to send in your requests, where we won't upload them all at the same time, but we might keep them behind and kind of drip feed them in week by week. So keep an eye out on Discord, or obviously comment on Spotify with your suggestions, and we will eventually add them in. Okay, without further ado, let's go in to topic of the week. Topic of the week. All right, so topic of the week this week is us picking our favorite games from the years 2020 to 2024. Andy, have you done the upright years this time?
Yeah. 2020. I think so.
As we always do in these episodes, we will go through each year, and the 3 of us will name our favorite game from that year. And then we will quickly name some honorable mentions before moving on to the next year. This week, we will start with Andy. What was your favorite game of 2020?
Okay, so there was 2 choices for me, but one did steal the show just because back then it was the game that I was playing consistently, non-stop over any other game. Played it for years, and if hopefully you're going to count this, it is Warzone, of course. So yeah, when Warzone dropped, Battle Royale mode, it was just the best thing ever. It was lockdown, was jumping on playing with friends. It's sort of what really kickstarted me being able to stream and get to affiliate as well. Because I had friends jumping in and watching and playing with them and stuff. So it really got me to the next stage on Twitch. And obviously with more free time being at home, yeah, I was able to game more. So I was grinding that game out to like crazy. And it was like the first time I had fun on Call of Duty for such a long time, because of what they've done with it. Obviously, I know I played Fortnite and experienced the battle royale mode from Fortnite, but then for them to implement that into Call of Duty game, it was just so much fun, and I had fun grinding, leveling up the guns. It was basically the only reason that I played the multiplayer was to level up the guns ready for Warzone. Yeah, it was just incredible. It's like I don't know what else you can say about it. It's obviously standard sort of shooting, looting. The guns were good. I was always keeping up to date with the meta. The funny moments that you had with friends, whether that was accidentally blowing someone up or there's so many funny moments from that game. And like I say, during lockdown, I had more time to play. I was able to grind it out properly. So yeah, that gets my number one choice. It's obviously not a crazy in terms of story. It's multiplayer, so not too much detail I can go into with it. But yeah, it was just a lot of fun playing with friends, jumping on, just feeling sort of chilled and relaxed. And then we would do our own tournaments as well. So because we had so many people on at certain points, we'd run our own quad tournaments where we'd have like 5 squads of 4. And then we'd go in, record like our kills that we got for however many games, have little mini tournaments against each other. So that was really fun. All the different locations that you can land at if you was going for a hotspot or sort of landing at Superstore. The sniping was back to the best with some of the guns that they released. I particularly remember using the Kar 98. And again, obviously, I was clipping quite a lot of videos back then from YouTube from it. Yeah, it was just endless hours of fun. And every day after work or even during work, obviously at these points, you could just jump on and play it. And yeah, I was in love with it. So I was happy that they brought that out during lockdown because that really helped occupy a lot of time.
Yeah, it felt like they hit a perfect storm with that, perfect time to release it.
Yeah,
Other games, I'm going to mention one in a minute, not as my main game, but there's a few games that really just hit at the right time with lockdown. They really benefited from it.
Yeah.
Stephen, is Warzone yours?
It's not, but
Okay.
what I will add on Warzone, it was in my honorable mentions, and it was the most fun I've had on a Call of Duty title since like Modern Warfare 3 in 2011. I completely echo everything that Andy said. I mean, Andy was stupidly good at Warzone. I was very jealous playing with him because it'd be like
big his head up.
no, but I will say like credit where credit's due. Like Andy was very very good at Warzone. I'd be happy getting like for me 4 or 5 kills was an insane game, and then you got Andy over there like wiping half of the lobby out. But like at that point, like we were working together, like me and Andy, and then in our like team, which would be like me, Andy, and our friend James. During the day, we'd be messaging, going, "Oh, let's go Warzone tonight," and then it was a little bit like going out on a night out. So like we were able to like finish work, jump straight on, and sometimes we'd play till like 2, 3 in the morning on a work day. Can't even like do that now. But obviously lockdown was different. You know, you were just literally working and then gaming. I think there were so many funny moments. Like we'd have just like really funny chats, but then there'd be those moments of like you would say something stupid or you would buy back the wrong player, and then like if I didn't get brought back and I had we had a rule, I should say, where whoever had most damage who was down would then be brought back first if there were multiple members of your team down, and then there'd be a couple of moments where like someone wouldn't buy me back first but had most damage, and I used to get like really aggressive because I was like, I've got more damage, buy me back. But then we had like the moments where like it's really intense and you don't think you're going to win, and then you clutch that like victory at the very end, leveling up like the guns. Like it was an unbelievable like time, and I don't think I fully appreciated just how amazing that period of gaming was. Because like obviously I said it before the podcast, I'd fallen out of love with game in 2019, And 2020 got me right back into world gaming, and I've never ever stopped loving it since that point. So it was a very poignant moment. Obviously playing story-based campaigns, but I did spend a stupid amount of time on Warzone. So yeah, didn't quite make my number one, but yeah, it was probably one of the best moments that we've had in the newer era of Call of Duty by some way.
Yeah, even when I weren't playing Warzone, I was watching pros on Twitch playing it, trying to see what they're doing and see what guns they're using, what the new metas were. So even when I weren't playing it, I was just addicted to watching it as well. That's how much I enjoyed it.
The best ones were like those compilations on YouTube or TikTok of those rage moments of Warzone. Like some of people's raging when they got killed, like the professional players were just insane. You had people like smashing their laptops, throwing keyboards out the window. I was like, Call of Duty is back at that point.
Yeah, I it's nowhere near my list. I don't like Warzone, as you know.
No.
But I wonder, Stephen, if we have a match. What's yours?
So mine, there's a lot of really good games, and obviously this is the year that the PS5 launched, and we started getting to next gen. But I had to pick The Last of Us Part 2. I had to. I couldn't pick any other game
Over
in
Astro's
terms of
Playroom.
So in my little list of honorable mentions, Astro's Playroom comes in at second.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't play Last of Us Part 2 till 2024. I didn't play it in 2020 because obviously I was on Xbox. I then got a PS5, and it took me a while to get round to The Last of Us. As soon as I played Last of Us, I then went on to Uncharted, and then my love for Naughty Dog started from that point. But I played Part 1, but also I watched the first season show. But as soon as I finished Part 1, I was like, I've got to play this sequel. And it is I mean, we spoke about it so much, but it is a very different experience to Part 1. There is just so much in terms of what that game puts you through. I had a hunch of
Be
the
careful with
main thing.
spoilers, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to. There might be still people out there,
Yeah.
even after the show, that don't
Yeah.
know. But there was a part in Part 2 which I had a hunch that I thought was going to happen, but I thought it was going to happen much later on in the game. So when it does happen, it took me by surprise. And I've never played any other game where I've hated somebody and then my feelings have changed because the game forces you to that. And I don't know about you, Welchy, but it's such a complex story of
Yes.
emotion and feelings and vengeance. And like Addy, obviously Chair. Obviously, Addy, I know you see the second series. I don't think the show quite lives up in any shape or form to the feelings that it makes you when playing the game. Because I've not had that experience with many other video games or campaigns that I've played than I did with The Last of Us. Excited one day to revisit it because I heard that it's one of those games where the more you play it, the better the experience is. But just for a standalone experience, it is one of the best story-based games that you'll ever play. It's a work of genius.
We have a match. Obviously, mine is The Last of Us Part 2. It's one of my favorite games ever. I echo everything you said. I mean, I do think this is better than Part 1. I understand why some people prefer the story of Part 1. It's a bit tighter. It's a bit more about just Joel and Ellie, almost like that father-daughter relationship without being a father and daughter. And I think The Last of Us Part 1 is a masterpiece. But I just think this one's an even better masterpiece, if that's possible. As you said, the story is so complex, but I like that. I like that it shows a circle of violence. And I loved the change, the halfway point. I didn't see it coming. And when it happened, I was like, oh shit, okay.
And the fact that you spend so much time.
And that's my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, and it's very deliberate.
Yeah.
And the more that I think about it, I only thought about it after completely thinking, oh my God, yeah, it's kind of like hoodwinking you. It's kind of forcing you into a sense of security. And then over time, you naturally, without giving too much away, but you bind to someone that you didn't expect that you would. And I think it's really difficult. If someone asked me that question, what is better, Part 1 or Part 2?
It's very tough.
Like I could have a different answer to you depending on what day it is. That's how, like a flip of a coin. But I always say Part 1 is all about love, Part 2 is all about hate. And like being a massive horror fan in not just video games but in movies as well, like I don't wince, but there are some sections in The Last of Us Part 2 that I not only winced, but I really wanted to look away. Like you're absolutely spot on. The brutality and the violence isn't just shown, it's felt. And for a game to do that to you, I mean, I could spend hours upon hours talking about part two. I haven't even played it on the PS5 remastered version yet. I only played it when it was PS4 and it looked gorgeous then.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine how great it looks on full 60 FPS in ultra 4K. Um, but yeah, and also it's much longer than part one as well. But I like
Yes.
that as well. That it doesn't feel like it's ever dragging. It just takes you along the way, and it's a wild ride.
Yeah, it is just genuinely a masterpiece. I think it's some of the best acting performances I've ever seen in a
Mm.
video game. With some to mention maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I genuinely thought it was truly a masterpiece. But it's one of the first games where, obviously, I don't want to spoil it. Andy, you'd actually know the part now because you've watched the show. But for anyone who hasn't seen the show or the
Yeah.
game, like after that moment happened, I genuinely just felt so. I'm not going to say depressed because obviously that's an actual professional clinical term. But I was just like, I was so affected by it. And like, I got past that bit, did a little bit more than. Because I did play the night it launched. Like, it hit 12 o'clock, midnight. I pressed play,
Yeah,
we went. I streamed it on a channel we don't have anymore. Um, and I logged off at night and I sat there for a good 15 minutes thinking, fuck, like, I can't believe this happened.
yeah.
I genuinely couldn't believe it. And I was
I
genuinely affected by it.
I do wish, obviously, it's impossible to say now, but I wish that I had been part of the PlayStation community playing it when it came out, then playing part two and not having any idea about that moment, because I imagine how that would have hit. It affected me, and I have kind of an inkling. I just didn't realize it happened so soon. But I now understand when people that were there at the very beginning and that happened, like, fucking hell, what a moment. And yeah, completely agree that it's one of those feelings where in games where you can't believe what's happened, and you don't want to admit it. But I always think part two only works because of that moment.
Yeah.
So anyone that gets angry about it, I always say, well, like I think even Troy Baker says it in the documentary. He always goes up to people and says, "Okay, tell me how part two would be better without that happening." And not a single person can provide a response because there
Yeah.
is no. It's part of the story. It works.
And I don't mind when people say they don't like the game because they don't like the decisions in the story like that. That's fine. It's when people don't like the games for other silly reasons, such as
Mm,
Abby's character design or the way stuff
yeah,
like that. That's when I'm like, okay, I'm not really gonna listen to that opinion. If you don't like a certain character dying, fine. Completely off topic. In Vikings, one of my favorite characters died, and I just lost interest like very very quickly.
Yeah.
It can happen. I
yeah.
get that. But it's when people do it for other reasons. I'm like, okay, for whatever. Um, but this game was masterful in that it got rid of one of my favorite characters, but I loved it even more for it in the end. It's mental how
Yeah.
they can do that
They,
in a game.
they always say in not just video games but in movie TV that the best stories are the ones that actually make you hurt,
Challenge you,
bleed, and
yeah,
cry.
yeah.
And I respect The Last of Us so much for doing something that they knew would piss a hell of a lot of people off, but going, we don't care. We know that we've got an amazing story here, and this story works because of that. And I think it tells a very important message, which loads of games should take note because there's so many games that try and emulate what like The Last of Us has done, but you need to have like so many different cogs in the system
Mhm.
to be able to do that. So yeah, completely understand that, and I think it's better because of that.
It's just such a shame they fucked up the TV show in my mind. I know it's not
To,
horrendous, but for me, it's just not good enough.
to be fair, the more I think about it, especially after now we've spoke about the game, you look at TV show, and go, yeah,
It's just nowhere
that
near
they
the
have
level.
really,
It's nowhere near the
yeah,
level.
it isn't. But we move. At least we've got a great game.
Yes, let's move on to honorable mentions for 2020. I'll just chuck a few out. My second place for that year would have been Miles Morales.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely love that game. It's all the Superman, all the Spider-Man games are very good. I say all of them. The Insomniac ones are all very good. I was hard to rank them. Obviously, Miles Morales is a much shorter experience. Coming out of that game, I was really hoping they would do more of those. Like, I'd love them to just keep doing little short Spider-Man stories. I'd be all up for that.
yeah.
Um, Also that year, Ghost of Tsushima,
Yeah.
which I
That's the other one I
kind of
had
Mm,
down.
thought Andy might be picking, but obviously he went with Warzone.
Yeah. It was
Hades.
close.
Hades is an amazing video game. Never managed to beat it, but it's an amazing video game. Astro's Playroom, Fall Guys. Obviously, I'm guessing that'll be on one of
Yeah,
yours too.
Ah,
Animal
yeah, on my
Crossing.
list.
Animal Crossing is the other one, which actually, and Fall Guys. Animal Crossing and Fall Guys just hit at the right time with COVID and stuff, and had a bit of an extra push because of that. Man Eater, the shark game.
I had that on my list as
Um,
well. What a game!
one of my funnest platinums. Resident Evil 3, which Andy has started but not beaten.
yeah.
Then a few other games, like Tell Me Why, Mortal Shell, Bug Snacks, stuff like that. Stephen, what you got for honorable mentions?
So, one funny thing about Maneater is I always called that game. I called it Barry the Shark because I called my shark Barry. So I never called it Maneater. I would say to people, "I'm off to play Barry the Shark," and they'd go, "What are you on about?" It was an in joke, but I had to remember that I needed to tell people the joke, otherwise they would just look at me really weirdly. I had Astro's Playroom, Ghost of Tsushima, Fall Guys, Spider-Man Miles Morales, kind of other ones that I had as well. I had Watch Dogs Legion, which
Yep.
I loved. It's got a character called Bagley in it, which just as soon as my friend Joe said, "Oh, this Watch Dog games, it's got a computer called Bagley, and it's set in London." He said that, and it was already bought on Amazon, ready to arrive. That was it. I didn't need anything else. I had Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which I actually really enjoyed. Great story. Really enjoyed the zombies. Did a lot of zombie sessions back in lockdown as well. I had Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which I loved. I obviously played a bit of it on my 24-hour stream as well. And I also had FIFA 21, which was the first next gen FIFA title that we got.
Yes,
I had it. It was came out originally on Xbox and PS4, so I had it on Xbox One. Then I bought the PS4 version of FIFA 20. Then I bought the next gen version. So that year alone, I've bought FIFA 3 times, which is just mental when you think about doing that. But apart from that, I didn't have any others.
Andy?
I literally just wrote down Ghost because obviously a lot of those years was just multiplayer for me, so it would have been a lot of playing FIFA and a lot of Call of Duty and obviously a lot of Warzone. Obviously did play Fall Guys, completely forgot that came out that year as well, so that would be one of my nominations. But yeah, it was close between if I'd played Ghost at the time, then potentially it might have challenged Warzone, but because I played Warzone so much,
Yeah.
it was hard for me not to put that as my first choice. But Ghost was a great game, and I loved doing all the I always forget what it's called now. When you go around the settlement, freeing them.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
know what you
actual
mean,
word for it?
liberating
But yeah,
the settlements.
yeah, it was same on Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You could do all of that stuff, and I loved doing that on Ghost and clearing the map and stuff. So yeah, great game.
If you think about it, in 2020, we had Warzone, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us Part 2, and Spider-Man Miles Morales, and a new console, 2 new consoles in PS5 and Xbox Series X. Like, what a year. What a mad year 2020 was. But in terms of gaming, they must have been sitting there going, wow, like, we've hit the right time, boys, being in the pandemic when no one can go
Well,
anywhere.
they were, and then they realized, shit, we can't make enough consoles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So let's move on to 2021. Andy started last time, so let's start with Stephen.
Okay, so I had 2 that I couldn't work out what I was going to put as my winning game because I
I think I
loved
know
them
what they both are.
equally. But I'm going to lean more, as I am the resident horror expert, in a little game called Resident Evil Village.
So I'm going to stop you there and say that, Stephen, we are 2 for 2.
Oh, we
Oh,
are.
wow.
Oh,
We are 2
shit.
for 2.
I had a hunch, Welchy, that you were going to go with what I'm assuming is going to be your
The other
second
one.
place, which
It's
is
not my
probably going to
second
be
place.
exactly
It's
like
not my
mine.
second
Oh,
place. There's a lot of good games
okay.
there, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But for me, like, so Resident Evil Village was the first Resident Evil that I played on PS5 because I heard great things about Resident Evil 7, but I never got round to it on
Same.
Xbox. So as soon as I finished Village, I then went back and played Resident Evil 7. I already knew that Resident Evil 7 was more on the psychological horror front. So from the trailers and seeing sort of the teasers of all of it, I think I first saw it at the PlayStation, my first ever state of play that I experienced. I remember like me and our friend James, we actually were in party chat together watching that first one. I was like, I'm getting that. So I knew that it was more like action horror. But oh my God, I got the steelbook. I got it on release day. I remember playing it the day that it came out, and just within sort of an hour from that opening shot of Ethan when you were in like the dark room, and then you go into the house with what partner's called, which
Mia.
has escaped me. Mia, that's it. And then obviously no, I won't say anything in terms of spoilers, but there's something that happens in that house where I'm just like, okay, you've got me, you've absolutely got me. And then what I love about Resident Evil Village so much is that it's got four distinct horror aspects when you venture over the castle. And there's one sequence which I actually think is as scary as the entire part of Resident Evil 7. And there's this image that still to this day I can see now. And I feel like you have to see it to believe it. Like if you watch people who streamed it at that point, some of the reactions are insane because like Adia, like the way I say it is that you think, oh, this is a bit creepy, but then you see something and you just like I was petrified of it, and I don't scare easy. I don't know about you, Welchy, but I was absolutely shitting myself. And because of it being quite like action horror based and adventure horror based, you just don't see it coming. And it just was such a sea change. I thought the characters were good. Lady Demisco,
Dimitrescu, yeah.
yeah, Demetresco is just like she is a great character. She speaks very nicely, and that's the main reason why us gamers all like her.
Everyone fancies the pants off her. She's like this 7 or 8, maybe. Actually, I think she might have been 10 foot
She's like a
vampire.
10.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but she's quite an
She's got some
attractive
upper
10-foot
features,
vampire.
yeah.
Yeah. And so like there's a whole sequence where you have to basically play like hide and seek with her, and the amount of times that I deliberately wanted to be found and then realised that actually that's not really good. I did that a couple of times. I was lockdown. We were still in lockdown 2021. I was lonely. I was like, this is like as close as I'm getting to a date at this point. We've got meeting up with ladies in Trisco. There is a couple of people that say like the critique that they have Resident Evil Village is that a lot of the villains are quite pantomime-y. And there is an aspect of that when you go in and you meet like all of the members of the family within the castle. But I quite like that. I quite like that a lot of them are out there and it's a bit of a pantomime section because
I didn't really find the third section that interesting personally.
are you talking about the sequence in the mine?
The
Is it the mine
fish
sequence?
looking one.
Yeah. There was every segment was slightly better than the other, but I think at that point I was just so engrossed in the game that they could have thrown like a really boring sequence because I think that happens right after what
The
we just
dollhouse,
spoken
yes.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the dollhouse. I think it's got 4 different sections, and then it's got like a boss battle, which is actually quite a challenging boss battle, really. I
What, the
remember,
very end of the game, you mean?
yeah, the very end of the game, it's quite.
Yes.
It wasn't massively like
No,
difficult,
it was
but I
tough.
remember it took me a few fair attempts, and I was just playing it on the regular sort of difficulty. But yeah, just it looked stunning. I had the 3D audio headset, so I was just so immersed in it. And I remember that it came out around a time where we had like 3 incredible games. Well, 3 now, 2 I'll say at the time, because there's one that is on my list, but I was disappointed with it at the time. But I need to go back and play it, which we'll get to. But yeah, just I couldn't work out if I wanted to pick the other game that is on my list, but yeah, I think I've sold it to myself that Resident Evil Village is just unbelievably good.
Yeah, Andy, I might as well go now because it's mine as well. Yeah, Village is not as good as 7 for me. I still prefer 7. But Village is still fantastic and my game of the year for that year. A lot of people don't like Ethan Winters' character. I'm not fussed about him really. I just kind of like the game itself and the other characters surrounding it. The second part, as you say, after Lady Dimitrescu, you go into the second part, which is in this like creepy house, which ends up you're going into the basement, and that basement section, I completely agree with you, is one of the scariest things I've ever experienced in games or movies. Like, I genuinely, hand on heart, can say that I was playing it with pure fear, like actual pure fear.
Yeah.
To the point where as soon as I beat it, I put the controller down and just had to just take a minute. I was like, this.
Yeah,
I was scared. And
I had to take a break as well. It's insane.
I don't want to play it anymore. I don't want to play it again because I don't want to play that section because it's genuinely terrifying. And I've played the Outlast. And Outlast did scare me. Don't get me wrong, but this is something else. And Dead Space, I played them all, but this was just something else.
Yeah, I think what makes it worse is not only the imagery, but it's the audio as well.
Yes, it's the audio. It's the audio that kills you.
There's just this there's this repeated sound,
Yeah.
which again, I'm not going to spoil because if I say it, it will spoil that section if
Mhm.
people haven't experienced it. But they just continue to play it over and over again, and it just plays in your mind. And like, I can feel myself going weird about just talk about
Yeah.
it. And I think that there's not any other horror game that I've played that has made me feel, even Outlast and Outlast 2,
Mhm.
there were moments where I felt tense, but
Mhm.
this is like full on dread. And I just think it's a mixture of like the imagery, the audio, and just because again, you just don't expect it,
No,
and
it's
it just starts getting worse and worse.
it's horror. It's pure horror. Like when you define horror, that is horror to me. That is
Yeah,
genuine horror. Um, I would say with that game, I sound like I'm being a bit negative on it, but the reason I prefer Seven, I wasn't that sold on like the werewolfy, whatever they were called. I think they're called werewolves, but those kind of enemies, like the base
yeah,
enemies, like around the town. Don't really care for that side of things. But the four different zones were cool, other than the fish one I didn't really like. But the last one's really cool. The kind of like the roboty section where he's doing
yes.
all that stuff. That was really cool. So
I
overall, I absolutely love this game. It's just it's unfortunate it came after Seven because Seven to me is the best.
see. I find it really difficult because I don't prefer one over the other. The only reason I say that is I think in terms of horror, Seven absolutely knocks it out of the park. From the minute you go to the house, you're there and it doesn't stop until the game ends, and I love that. But I like Resident Evil Village because it's a different kind of horror.
Hmm.
um I mean, as well, Eve Winters, he's okay as a character, but I enjoy the modernization of what they did with the Resident Evil games with both 7 and 8. They've got big expectations to fill with 9 next year because I think we've had two insanely good Resident Evil games. So they've got to like anything less than what they've done so far is going to flop massively with the Resident Evil fans. So big expectations and big pressure on Capcom to deliver, which I do think they will. From what I've seen early on, I think we're in safe hands.
Yeah, I do. I personally really like the first person mode. I know a lot of Resident Evil fans prefer going back to the third person. And on nine, they give us an option. You can do either or. So they're basically making
Yeah.
everyone happy. But Andy, what was your favorite game of 2021?
Yeah, so as stated before, obviously I didn't really play too many games during this sort of period. It was more on Warzone and FIFA. But I played a lot of games last year in terms of campaigns, and one of them happened to be from 2021. And it was a game that I hadn't played in years since I played it with my cousin around his, and that is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So yeah, to be fair, I don't really remember too much about it in terms of the story. But I just remember jumping on, having a lot of fun with the characters. I like the way that they done the rotating missions.
Yeah,
I can't remember the other character's name now.
I can never remember
But
the
you'd rotate
robot,
between.
but it's Rivet. Rivet is the other Lombax.
Rivet.
Lombax?
Yeah,
Lorax? Lombax?
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
I can never
yeah.
remember
So I
Rivet
like
though.
the way they done that.
No, I can see it now, but I can't quite remember the name. What I would say as well while you're searching that is that if it had not been for Resident Evil Village, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart would have been. That was what I was working out. Do I go with Resident Evil Village or Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart? So I'm glad that you picked that, Andy, so that we're covering both bases of the two best games for me in 2021.
Yeah, obviously Ratchet and Clank is the complete opposite of Village, where you've got a fun, like fun game to run around, do what you want sort of
Yeah.
thing. You don't have all the horror elements in there, luckily for me. I remember the boss fights being quite fun to do as well in terms of the mechanics of the bosses were quite clever. It wasn't
Yeah.
that typical, you just have to damage them and they die. There's usually a sort of a 3-step stage to the boss, or um dodging or something you'd have to do to then trigger the next stage of it. And it was just a really fun campaign to go through. I think it was probably one of the first ones that I potentially played in 2024 when I started doing more campaign games. And yeah, the side challenges as well inside the missions, where you had to do like a little I guess it was like a race. You had to do a race. I can't remember what
Mm.
you unlocked from it, but I remember going into like each story and sort of looking for that and then completing that as well. It just had a lot of fun side bits you could do as well while completing the story. Um, I just wish I remember what the actual main point of the story was. Was we locating something?
Um,
There was that
No,
enemy. Was he was trying to manipulate the rift because it was the
yeah,
rift being manipulated. I can't remember the
Yeah,
enemy's name, but it was relating to their like having a rip in the space and time, and Ratchet and Rivet teamed up to try and stop the guy from or the bad enemy from doing something with the rifts,
yeah. I
if I
just
remember
remember he
rightly.
gets. I think you when you fight him as a boss, he goes like really big, and then you
He
fight,
does,
or he has a robot.
yeah,
And I remember that boss fight being really fun to do, and the introduction to the game as well, where they're like celebrating Ratchet's like achievements and stuff, like with a race or
yeah,
obstacle course, and they have like all the big balloons going over and stuff, and all of a sudden the main villain comes out and ruins it all, and then all of a sudden you got ripped apart. But yeah, it's just a classic fun game, and it took me back to some of my sort of childhood memories when I did
yeah.
play Ratchet and Clank with my cousin. Um, so yeah, that's why I got my first place choice. The to be fair, obviously with me there wasn't a lot of competition, so I wasn't choosing between sort of several great games, but it potentially would still been up there anyway, even if I did play more games that year.
It's a solid choice. Like it is really solid. And I think if I remember rightly, I think Resident Evil Village came out at the end of May, and I think at the end of June we got Ratchet and Clank and Rift Apart.
They
So
were very
there wasn't
close.
long between them. And I remember like it was like between May and early July of 2021, we got like banger after banger that was released, including those two and a couple more that are on my honorable mentions. But you're absolutely right. And also it looked so visually
Oh,
Yeah,
stunning. You know, I remember playing Ratchet and Clank, and at the time, that was it that year? Oh no, sorry, it was the following year in 2022 that I replayed the original Ratchet and Clank on PS2 with my ex-partner who had a kid. And she bought him a PS2 with Ratchet and Clank, where I spent majority of the time on that PS2 playing that. And it reminded me how good that was, but it also reminded me of wow, we have come
how
such a
far
long
we
way
are.
from that original
yeah,
2002 to the one that I played in 2021. It's just such an achievement when you haven't picked that up. I haven't played that for the best part of like 10, 15 years, and it just reminded me just how amazing both games were, and how Rift Apart has a lot of throwbacks to the original that you wouldn't really notice unless you were either playing them simultaneously or playing that and then going back to the original. So yeah, it visually looked great. The dual sense as well was I don't know, Andy, did you have the dual sense on or
You probably turned
the
it off.
Ratchet and Clank? Or did you turn it off?
I do. I usually have it off because of multiplayer games, but yeah,
Okay, because what I would say is that it's one of those games where the dual sense just give another level to Ratchet and Clank because they really utilize it well. I think there's like one gun where like it pulls back and then you feel the tension on L2 to then hit with
yeah,
R2, and it's just things like that. Like obviously, I know for multiplayer it's not a thing, but if you've got those kind of games, I would always recommend you switch on the dual sense, and it will just give you another level of experience. But yeah, I remember that they
yeah,
did a really good job with that.
yeah. I remember seeing a an article recently actually for Ratchet and Clank that there was an Easter egg that no one had found, and then they recently revealed what it was. And I remember it was
Oh,
something to do with the bar area where you then go in,
Oh
you've
yeah.
got the arena bit. I can't remember what it was, but I think there's a sign outside the front door. You have to like shoot it 8 times, then do some other shit, and then there's some other shit, and then something happens, and it had never been figured out. And I was thinking, who the fuck's gonna figure that
Yeah.
out? Like after I was reading what you had to do, it's like if
there
anyone
will be
figures that out,
someone
then
there.
that's impressive. Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, after obviously 4 years, no one figured it out, so they told people about it.
Mm.
Let's stick with you, Andy. What are your honourable mentions?
I didn't actually write any down.
Oh,
That
okay.
was like, yeah, that was the one main game. It would have been obviously like FIFA and COD that I would have
Yeah.
played, but sort of forcing myself to play those at that point.
Stephen.
So I had, and I'm going to put this as a dishonorable mention, but there's redeem on it. I had Returnal because I bought it on release date, really was excited with it. But when Returnal came out, you had to play it in one entire go. There was no save function. And I got like 2 hours in, and every time you died, it reverted you right the way back to the beginning. It wasn't for me. And like a
Did you,
game
did
that
you
you
not know that
can't
going in?
actually. I had hunches, but I didn't really. I thought it'd have
Hundreds.
like a save. No, I had a hunch that it was going to be like that, but I thought it'd have like a save point like halfway through. And at the time, they said like, "Oh, you have to keep your PS5 on if you want to
Yeah.
complete it." And I was like, "I'm not doing that." I've heard that they've done lots of updates since that point,
So
and there are
there's
now
a
save
save
points.
state. So you can get halfway through, and if you need to go, if like log off for the night or you're going out or something, you can have a save state and turn it off and come back to that save state.
Okay.
But you can't like progress. You can't then turn it on, progress, get further, and go. Actually, I don't like that decision, and go back to that. That makes sense.
Right.
That as soon as you
Yeah.
start playing again, that save has got that save state is gone. You make a new save state. So it's not like you
Yeah.
can fail and go, oh, let me just go back to that save point. It's like no, you fail, and that's what those games
Yeah,
are.
that's
So the one I mentioned on 2020 was Hades. Same concept. They're called
Yeah.
roguelikes. Um,
Yeah.
where you have it's all about runs and making your runs better, like Balatro basically, Andy. Like it's all about the getting the
Oh,
perfect
okay.
run.
So it's not
Yeah.
a particularly long game then to
If
like
you
if you
beat
just
it
do.
in one go, it's extremely quick, but you can't
Yeah.
because
Okay.
it's
No.
purposely difficult
It's
And people
yeah,
say
yeah.
it takes about like 15 to 20 hours
because of the
because
difficulty
of
and
how,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and
So I've got it.
But if
you get some. I know there's some honorable mentions, but I like roguelike games. I'm not like a massive fan. Some people love roguelikes, but you by playing the more you play, you get like currency that you can only use on your run, but you also get currency
Mm,
that you keep, and then you can use that to like get upgrades or improve your weapons
yeah, I
or
get you.
stuff. So, um, Hades does it masterfully. Returnal is also very, very good. I never beat either of them because they're tough.
right.
Yeah,
I
I haven't. I don't think I've ever played a game like that on
You would love
console. It'll
Returnal,
mostly be
Andy.
like I'd need to give it a try. Like obviously, I think games like that you mostly play on like on mobile phone, or I have anyway. Like they might not be classed the same, but things like
Returnal's a third person shooter.
yeah.
yeah, but you know, like those running games where you're just like running across, jumping over obstacles, and
Oh
obviously
yeah,
you start at the beginning. It's sort of similar to that in terms of like a run, but obviously on a lower level to
yeah.
console games. But
it
yeah,
it it had like great visual effects. It had
Oh,
horror
so
elements
good.
as well. And I've got it now on the PlayStation Platinum, not Platinum, the
Premium, whatever.
premium
Yeah, yeah.
subscription. So I am going to go back and revisit it. I don't think I'll ever complete it because I'm quite impatient. So I remember I did like 2.5 hours, didn't die, and as soon as I died, I literally after like the 3 hour mark was like, you know what, this is not for me. But I put it down there because there's potential for that, and I appreciate a game being different. It just personally for me, we didn't connect at that time. My last ever Xbox game that I bought and played was Forza Horizon 5.
See, I thought that
I
could have been
FIFA
your number one.
22. It would third.
Yeah.
Like after Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, Forza Horizon 5 is third. FIFA 22, Call of Duty Vanguard, Deathloop, which was another
I never played that. I've
similar
always
to.
wanted to.
I haven't completed it, I should add. I'm like 2 3 hours in, but it's one on my list to go back and do. But the bits I have done so far of it, I really enjoyed.
That game was
Um,
in every single showcase for like 3 years. To the
it
point
was.
where,
yeah, I
like,
remember
weeks
watching it.
before, it was still on. It was like, we've seen fucking enough. Can we stop seeing this fucking game? Release
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
they hyped that up a lot, didn't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, and that's similar. I think that if I remember rightly, that's similar to Returnal in the respect of like you die and the
It's a
day
run, yeah.
repeats itself. Yeah, but it's not as challenging
No.
as Returnal. I had the Dark Pictures anthology House of Ashes, which that's the one with Ashley Tisdale in the horror story. She's part of the SS. I don't know if you played that, Welchy,
Not that one, no.
or any of the. But okay, and that's really good. I had Hitman 3, which is high up there. I loved Hitman 3. Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, which I found quite enjoyable. Aliens Fireteam Elite, and finally Terminator Resistance, which is such a fun campaign. Literally, it's really bizarre because like halfway through it, you have like a sex scene that you are actually like you're in the third person. I'm sitting there going, this is like gaming porn. It feels a little bit like,
If you like
but
that, you should play God of War 3.
um, but it was very similar to the original movie. And then the next one is going to be a direct sequel to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which is meant to be dropping in 2026. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that. It was like one of the first Terminator video games that I played that actually was decent because some of them have been utter trash.
Andy knows the one I played years and years ago on the PS3 to get the platinum.
Yeah, the cheap one.
Yeah. Yeah, so my honorable mentions, number two for me would have been one of the most underrated games I've ever played, called The Forgotten City. Highly recommend that. At first it was a mod for a Skyrim. I think it was a
Oh, I
Skyrim
think I
mod.
remember you talking about this.
Yeah. It's set in like let's call it ancient Rome. It's basically your character stumbles upon a city which has been buried underground, and you can't get out. You need to figure out a way to get out of the city. And again, similar-ish. Every time you die, you start again. It's like it's an eternal loop. But it's not a
okay.
roguelike, it's nothing like that. It's more like figuring out the puzzle. Like, you know, like time loop stories like Source Code and stuff like that. It's trying to figure out the puzzle. Um,
Okay.
and it is unbelievably good. It's such a good story. It's so fun. There's multiple endings you can get depending on the decisions you make. And figuring it all out was so cool. And then there's surprises and twists and turns. Could not recommend it highly enough. I didn't platinum it at the next box, but I got every single achievement. Um, and yeah, highly recommend it. Very good game. Halo Infinite came out that year, which was, in my opinion, one of the, and probably controversially, one of the best multiplayer Halos there's been. It's really, really good. I would still go back and play it now. Absolutely love that. And the campaign was good as well. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, obviously, we said. Psychonauts 2, again, another underrated gem. It's rated well, but it's not like played enough, I think, that's what I'm trying to say. Hitman 3, as you said. Alan Wake Remastered, Returnal, Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'll always stand those games. I like those games. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Isn't there?
There is free coming out, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy, which, by the way, is underrated a bit. It's not the best Marvel game. Actually, out of all the ones, it's probably one of the lower ones, but it's still very good.
I thought it had cool combat system in there. I haven't completed it, but I got about halfway through.
It
And
does.
the combat system was quite fun.
It does. And some of the writing is very, very good. And the story, especially the latter half, is very, very good in that game.
Yeah.
Does it have James Gunn's involvement in it? Do you know?
No, it's
No.
completely irrelevant to James Gunn, and it's all completely different voice actors. But
Okay.
it's very, very good game. Forza Horizon 5, and then the rest of the games that I played that year, I wouldn't rate them, so I'm not going to mention them. But that leads us on to 2022. I think you started that one, Stephen, so I'll start this one. And this is a very easy one for me. Do we want to say it out loud? Does anyone want to guess my 2022 game of the year? It's going to be our first one where we don't match.
It's going to be Call
Well,
of
you're matching with me.
Duty.
No, it's
No,
not Call of Duty.
it's
I
one.
thought he'd be serious then.
It's
No,
God of War
It's
Ragnarok.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I thought it would be.
I definitely can't spoil this because Andy's still only partway through.
Yeah, about 6-7 hours in.
And I will check out God of War.
So, God of War 2018, the reboot, was my favorite game of all time. So the anticipation for this game was through the roof, obviously, and it lived up to it and more. What one's the best? It's literally, I genuinely consider them the same. It's just a continuation of the story. There is new gameplay elements, and there's things. I think Andy's already got to that bit, but you play as another character. Which, when that moment happened, I was like, "Oh my god, they're doing it!" It was it's
that same way.
So many epic moments, like so many. And watching Andy play it on stream on the 24 hours, like, oh my god, he doesn't even know half the stuff that happens in this game.
No.
Some people say that the kind of pacing is off. I completely disagree. I love the pacing of this game. So many amazing moments, an unbelievable story, and the scale of some of the enemies and just the things you do and the fights you have, just so good. Some of the, again, I said about Last of Us 2, but this is some of the best performances ever as well, particularly Freya. Freya in this game is just mind-blowingly good, and Kratos, obviously, and a few others. But yeah, this year had a lot of good games. We're going to talk about them in a minute, honorable mentions. I will always say that the God of War games are my favorite games. If anything ever beats it, then wow. I can't imagine what that game would be. But it's a truly, truly special game. And I'm hoping to go and see Christopher Judge and meet Kratos himself in October.
Yeah, I'm hyped for that, man.
Yeah.
I think it's worth noting that, and if you played God of War Ragnarok, and that was the only game you played for the 24-hour stream, Welchy would have been absolutely delighted.
I would have rang work and said, you know what, I'm logging off.
I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
I'm not feeling great.
I think, Andy, you just said it's yours as well.
Yeah. Obviously, I know I haven't completed it, but there's not games that I have played over those years. But based on the hours that I have played and obviously completing number one and knowing how strong the second game starts anyway, and from all the praise I hear from yourself, Welchy, and other people, I know that this will be my game of the year for that year. Like you say, when you first start it, I've sort of was waiting for those moments where you do play as other characters, and I was like, when it happened, I was so hyped.
Is that because you knew or because you hoped?
I hoped. I didn't know for certain. But then there's also something in particular happens with an animal, and then I sort of in my mind I was hoping something else would happen later on in the game, not knowing whether it was going to or not. And then it does happen, and then obviously you have a new power and ability that you can use. I'm like, oh, I was so hyped in those moments. And they've just continued on how from God of War, how good that was. They've just continued it on with the story and the characters and Sindri and
Brock.
another one, Rock.
Brock.
The Brock would be those two. Obviously they've introduced new characters as well. I haven't seen too much of them yet, but like you've got the Squirrel and the Naughty Squirrel, who's like one of them is played by Troy Baker. And there's other characters that I've seen online that I haven't seen in the game, who I know are played by sort of famous actors from TV shows that I like and stuff. So you've got, I can't remember her name now, but she's in Daredevil and she's also in True Blood. But she plays,
yes,
I don't know.
You text me about it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if she's in it for long, but I know she pops up at some point. And I saw some other characters and voice actors as well, thinking, oh, I can't wait for those guys to pop up.
There's a particular scene with that character, Andy, which is like, I say famous. It's just there's this one quote that is said in that moment, and it's like, oh my god, like that is so good.
Yeah,
so good.
You remember it? Yeah, and I don't think I've had any like crazy boss battles yet, other than actually there was one that I done on the stream. I think that was the biggest one.
For himself.
Yes, but I haven't killed anyone yet without giving it away.
Fair.
Like, I know I've had battles with certain characters and stuff, which have been pretty cool and built up the story a bit more and sort of their bonds and that. But I'm waiting for the big scale fights where you first meet the snake, the serpent in the first one, like a boss like that, where I know you don't fight that character, but I'm waiting for that to happen in the second game, and I know it's going to come, and I know there's going to be other characters that you're probably going to have to fight as well, and like you think like how the fuck are you going to beat them, but just those moments I'm waiting for, and like the Falcon, obviously you first meet the Valkyrie and who that is, just so many cool moments already, and I'm only about 6 hours in, so I just know that there's so much more to come that I'm going to be like gobsmacked and shocked and surprised when it happens.
I really
and I'm
need
excited
you
to get it finished.
Stream when you do it, even if I'm not there to watch it. There's a certain moment that I just need to see the reaction and the replay. I just have to see it.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Stephen, what's your game for 22?
So mine is also good. No, just throw that one in there. But I've heard great things about it. So I am excited to play it. And in my head, I was thinking, if Welchy doesn't pick God of War Ragnarok because it's like winning game, then he must not be feeling too well. There is a lot of good games in 2022, and I mean a lot of really strong contenders. But I have picked the game that I played when I actually had COVID, which funnily enough I contracted from one of a party that Andy was hosting, which then became like joke of that I was the super spreader at that party. It is a little game called The Quarry that I have picked as my.
Me and Andy,
did you guys think that?
Joined, we was talking about it. We said it's either going to be Horizon or The Quarry.
Yeah, no. And to be fair, Horizon is third. There is another game in 2022 that I like. Yeah, you'll be interested when I say it, but yeah, it had to be The Quarry.
Please don't be what I think it is, Steve. Please don't be what I think.
It's not a horror game.
It's like a guilty pleasure of mine, but we'll get on to that. No, I love like obviously all horror games, but Until Dawn, which I experienced, I can't remember if I experienced it before or after The Quarry actually. I'll need to go back and look on my like trophies. It was around sort of the same time, but I love sort of immersive stories similar to like what the Telltale games do, where you have lots of different choices and your choices will then impact on the game. The opening sequence of The Quarry, I remember sitting down, because even though I had COVID, I wasn't feeling particularly poorly, so I just literally gamed for that week. But I remember turning my light off, putting it on, and then it opens to Ariana Grande's Moonlight as a couple are driving down, going to the it's like I would say reservoir, but it's like a youth activities group, and they're the workers of it, and they're driving to it. And within 10 seconds of that opening sequence, I remember sitting to myself and going, I love this game. I just could tell within that opening shot that I was going to enjoy it. It's got great actors. So it's got Brenda Son, who plays London Tipton in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. That's insane. That when I saw her pop, I was like, oh my god, London Tipton, yay me! It's weird seeing like childhood Disney stars in adult roles. It's got the old woman from, I don't know if you've seen this, Andy, but I don't know. I think you have watched the Insidious movies.
No, I
The
haven't
old
seen them.
woman. Have you not seen Insidious?
Yeah, but who's she in the quarry?
It's the one who Josh photographs her at the end of the first Insidious.
No,
She's
no,
like
no.
the
Who is
paranormal.
she in the quarry?
Oh, she plays one of like the leaders of the group. She's like the mum, and then you've got that the police officer who's like
Tom
the
Raimi.
weird police
Yeah.
dude.
Ted Raimi.
Um,
I'm sorry.
yeah, Ted Raimi. So she's the mum of Ted Raimi's character in The Quarry. I don't know if you played it, did you recognise? Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, it's
Right. Yeah.
Insidious in the film. So it's got like great actors throughout.
You're
And
missing a
it
few
starts.
actors. So Miles Robbins is in it, and he is the guy. If you remember when we watched Old Dads, he's
Yeah,
the guy
the
who
ball
takes
player.
over the company and is like a bit of a dick.
Oh, really?
Oh, is
He's
he?
in it,
Oh, okay. Who other
and
actors am I missing?
the guy from Superman who all the girls fancy. We spoke about him yesterday, Andy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's also in it.
That's
Ah,
crazy.
Which I only just
okay.
realised because I was just looking because it's on my honorable mention list. I was looking at the picture and thinking that looks exactly like the guy
I
from
recognised him.
Superman, and it is
Yeah, it is him.
Oh my god! And
Um,
now the guy who works at the Daily Bugle and who
Daily
has the
Planet.
really
Yes, everyone fancies
the,
him. Yeah,
yeah, Daily Bugle. Bloody hell, Stephen. Daily Planet. Yeah, I'm getting my Spider-Man and my
yeah.
Superman's mixed up. But I think it starts off sort of what you expect, and what I really love about the Quarry is it changes your mind like halfway through because it doesn't go for the conventional slasher scare in parts. But I love that they were creative. I
Hmm.
don't know if both you thought that as well, that
Yeah.
it kind of played with you a little bit, and I was like, okay, this isn't going in the way that I think, and it kind of keeps you guessing all the way to its later stages. And then when it gets sort of brutal, bloody hell, it gets brutal.
There's one scene I'll always
Because,
remember is so intense, so intense.
yeah, yeah, really tense. And I like the confrontations within the group. I mean, we saw it in Until Dawn as well. And I think both are. I can't work out which one I like out of the two. I know they're essentially made by the same developer, but I can't give you that definitive answer.
I lean
I
towards
just
Until
love both
Dawn, but I
really
think
good
it's because
vision.
it's my first. I think you always kind of
Yeah,
lean towards that.
and
But this
and
is
to be
a great
fair,
game.
it also has got Hayden Panettiere in it, and that kind of gives you brownie points because yeah, I remember my time in Heroes where like I had a massive girl crush on like
I think
who
everyone did.
didn't?
Everyone did.
Yeah, who didn't actually with
Remember
Hayden
that other
Panettiere?
film that we
The Girl
used to
Next
speak
Door.
about, weren't you?
Not a Girl Next
No, no,
Door.
no.
That was the Girl from 24,
I love
wasn't it?
you, Beth. I love you, Beth Cooper, or
Oh
something like
yes,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Quarry
Um.
also has Justice Smith. Anyone know who he is? The guy from Detective Pikachu.
Oh, okay. I mean,
Obviously
I'm
not Ryan
not
Reynolds.
familiar
He
with.
is Pikachu. Um,
Yeah.
you'll know Justice Smith if you saw him. Apparently he's in Jurassic World Dominion, but I've refused to watch that film. Um,
Okay.
Yeah, you don't miss
Yeah.
much.
he's relatively famous now. You'd know him.
Yeah.
And I
Pretty
can't
recognised
now that
face.
you've mentioned that before Superman, I now see him clearly in the
Yes,
quarry.
yeah.
Like yeah, that is insane. So I think that the level of actors they brought to that was really, really impressive. And yeah, just a really fun game. You know, if you're a horror fan and you like story-based games, I cannot recommend it enough. And it really that at that time I was playing that, and then I was then going on to all the Sackboy challenges where I COVID, which is I know a very different sort of world to go from the world of the quarry to the world of Sackboy. But yeah, like I didn't want that game to end. That's how much I enjoyed it.
I can see the Insidious woman now. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know exactly what you mean. I just forgot that whole part of the game. That's so good. It's a great game. Great choice. Absolutely great choice. Um, might as well stick with you. Honorable mention, Stephen.
So the game that I had in second, just ahead of Horizon Forbidden West, is a little game called Stray.
Ah, Stephen.
Oh no. I haven't even played it, but that bloody cat game.
I was going to mention
Mate,
it, but like quite low down. It's
it's
your opinion.
I
Don't get me wrong, but
I loved it. Now I remember watching the trailer and thinking, a game like you play as a cat. Like that's not going to be very good. And the fact that it's only like 5 hours, I think if the game was any longer, then it would start to be a bit of a problem. But for the 5 hours that I did play it, I loved it.
It's a cool
I
game. It's
just
quite artistic.
I just thought it was so clever in terms of what they were able to achieve. It looked great. And I just remember it having a big impact on me. Obviously, the better game in third would be Horizon Forbidden West, which I've already spoke about recently on the podcast. But I just think in terms of a game surprising me and one that I thought I was just going to do and say that was all right. I really, really enjoyed Stray. And I'm not really a I'm not really an animal. I do like animals, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like I have to be very careful about that. But like, I'm not sort of like obsessive over a cat or a dog. I don't have any sort of preference in that regard. So like, because some people who love cats adore Stray because of their connection. But I just think in terms of what the game was and how much fun I had with it, that's why I had to have it as my second. Can you imagine if I said my winning game was Stray? But yeah,
I would have probably just turned the podcast off, Stephen, if you said it.
yeah,
was yours.
probably would have.
Um,
But obviously,
Discord.
I've only played Horizon Forbidden West recently. Spoke about it at length. Love that game. I still think that number one is my favorite, but it's still a really good game regardless. I mean, I give it like a nine,
9, I think.
and I gave the first one 10. So still a phenomenal game. Just to rattle through some of the other ones, Gran Turismo 7, which I got the deluxe edition on day one of that, and there's a sequence where you have to do a race, and it's set to 5 minutes, and it was the classics built to a drum and bass setting. Absolutely brilliant. Evil Dead, the video game, which is a multiplayer horror game. It's nothing special. It's all right. And then FIFA 23, and then Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 as well.
Andy, did you have any for 22?
I didn't write any down, but just I was thinking when you're speaking about the games there. When did Minecraft Dungeons come out? Because I remember playing that not that long ago, and I got
No, that was slightly earlier. You missed that one out. Because I had that in mind. I think let me find my list
okay,
for
yeah.
21.
So I would have mentioned that where, but yeah, that was because I got platinum on that and I really enjoyed
I think that was
how
2020,
different that
Andy. I
was.
think that was the COVID year.
Okay, yeah, so I would have chucked that in with those nominations, but yeah, no, I knew God of War Ragnarok was my winner for that year, so that's the only thing I noted down.
Yeah, Minecraft Dungeons was that year, and on my list of 2020 games that I played, it was last.
Really?
I didn't go on with it, but I don't get on with Diablo, that kind of game. I want to like, but I
Oh,
never
see,
have.
that's why I liked it. Yeah, because obviously I love the
because you
Diablo
like,
games as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
So for me, in easily second place, and in any other year would have won, is Sifu. I spoke about it before
Yeah,
on a
Yeah.
podcast. I adore that game. For a game to be as hard as it was, they've now introduced difficulty modes, which I'm proud that I can say I platinumed it without that. But for a game to be as hard as it was, and for me to stick with it and purposely get better and persevere and beat it, and not only beat it, platinum it, is strange for me. I've gone and spoke about how I don't like the difficulty of like an Elden Ring or whatever. But this game just has style. Like if there's a game that has style, it's this. We've seen Rematch,
Yeah.
same developer, has great style,
Yeah.
artistic style. Take that, but it's a fighting game, not your Street Fighter. It's a kind of beat 'em up game where take of Streets of Rage, but then take it to a third person view behind your back. Honestly, some of the moments in this game are incredibly good. Not in terms of like story, you can take or leave the story, but the fight scenes that you have in this game and the places you're fighting and the things you can do with the fighting, I cannot praise this game highly enough. This is a 9.5 out of 10, if not a 10. I love this game with every being of my body.
Yeah.
Everyone should play it. I get it's hard and you can play on. I don't know if the easy difficulty is easy. It probably still is quite challenging. But it's a phenomenal game. Absolutely phenomenal. I had Horizon Forbidden West. Marvel Snap. Come on. Everyone's got to play Marvel
Oh
Snap.
yeah,
What a
he
game.
said that.
Vampire Survivors, again, a great game. A Plague Tale Requiem, which is a significant improvement on the first one, which is also good. The Quarry, obviously, I had 2 Point Campus, the first 2 point game that I ever played.
Okay.
Oh,
I enjoyed that game. As Dusk Falls, if neither of you played that game, you two need to get onto As Dusk Falls.
oh God. Is this a
Stephen,
horror game?
no, but Stephen mentioned that you like the kind of the Quarry style games and the Telltale kind of games. Play
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
play as Dusk Falls.
As Dusk Falls.
As Dusk
Okay.
Falls. The first half is better than the second, so it does feel a bit damp when you finish it. But I think you'll play that first half and be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" Like it's very good. You
Okay.
kind of got to get over the style. I don't want to
Okay.
spoil things, but it starts and you'll be like, "I don't know if I like this." Get through the style of it, and you'll see there's a good game and a good story there.
I'll check that out for sure.
Marvel Midnight Suns, a game that again I normally wouldn't like, but I kind of got into the card games now. It's kind of a card game. I think have you ever played XCOM? Or do you know what the
I
No.
haven't, no.
XCOM games are? It's kind of like a strategy game basically. But then they introduce cards into it as well for like powers and stuff. It's really cool. If you like Marvel, it's worth a try. A game for Steven, Scorn. It's a horror game. It's not. I wouldn't call it scary, but it's kind of like disturbing and like disgusting to look
Okay.
at. It's worth playing. And then I did have Stray. Then Pokemon Violet, Tunic. He plays a fox with a sword. It's interesting.
No.
A scout. Sorry.
Absolutely not, Welchy. Absolutely not.
I completely forgot. Yes, you did like foxes. There's so many games this year because I've got so many. Escape Academy, which is a really fun puzzle game based on escape rooms. So if you like
Yeah.
escape rooms, you can play this. It's really fun, and you can play that co-op. And then there were some other games which didn't really do very well for me that year.
So I just paused for it because that moment is like, you know, the correct Satchel when someone comes just goes, no. That was literally my moment just then. It's like play a fox with a sword. No. Next contestant, please.
So let's move on to 2023. Andy, let's go back to you to start this one.
Yeah. So with 2023, there is actually an obvious game that I bought and played on release for that year, and I was just watching someone else play it in my room about 10 minutes ago, and that is
I know what
Hogwarts
it is.
Legacy. So yeah, obviously to get to, I haven't really played any other Harry Potter games before. I think there was one on DS that I played. Obviously none of them are on the same scale as this. I know there's like Lego Harry Potter as well. But to be
Originally
able
they
to
were all
jump
just
in,
like tie-ins with the movies, weren't they?
yeah, they're all like named after the movies, aren't they? It's literally just copycats of it. And so to actually be able to jump into a Harry Potter world where you're your own character, get to sort of choose your house based on how you answer questions and stuff. And then yeah, the story is great, but just being in that world was just like so magical. The music, I'm sure there'll be a few songs that make it onto the playlist from this game as well.
We didn't get it on the quiz last week, Andy.
Oh no, I played that back to Beth at the party last week because someone mentioned it, and I was like, "Listen to this, and can you guess what it is?" And it's like she'd already heard the answer before I went
Okay.
and played it. Like I was skipping it, and it said Hogwarts Legacy, so she knew it was going to be that game. But she was like, "Yeah, that's tough. I wouldn't do it."
Yeah.
So yeah,
And that someone might have been me. I might have thrown it and going, well, you didn't get the answer right to Hogwarts Legacy. But yeah, no, it was incredibly difficult to get.
yeah, but just jumping in, be able to learn the spells, going to Hogsmeade, all the different areas. It was just so much fun. And obviously, it's one of those games where you start off with sort of minimal sort of combat experience, and then obviously as you progress through the game, you start unlocking more spells and can fight more things. There's also a lot of side stuff you can do in this game. So just, I think the main one I was doing was just collecting the books that fly around. And I can't remember what all the puzzles are called, but there's a few puzzles that you can sort of solve to, again, I think you got the platinum on this, didn't you, Welchy?
I did. It took me about
Or you was
100
going for
hours.
it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So,
100 hours?
yeah,
Let me check that. I think it was a long time, yeah.
I know just from probably Beth playing it, I've probably got close to 200 hours on this game because she's gone through different houses, but she needs to get me the platinum on it at some point. But yeah, the story was fun. The characters, Sebastian, I can't remember the teacher's name now. Is it Fig? Something like Fig.
What teacher?
Best put a thumbs up. So the main teacher who like comes to get you at the start, and then he's
yes.
so yeah, it was nice to have an experience where you can jump into a Harry Potter game, and there was actually quite a scary mission in this game where it sort of had horror vibes to it, and I think it's when you go to a shop I think it's in Hogsmeade, and you go to a shop and then you like end up going into the basement and then all of a sudden it like goes dark. And I was like, fucking
Yes.
hell, this is quite
Yeah.
scary for
That's an
a
optional
Harry
mission, I
Potter
think. I
game.
don't think that's a because I think I did
Yeah,
that
but
to
it's
get the
worth.
platinum. Yeah, it's worth doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth doing that particular one. And again, like just going in all the different shops, like getting your wand, going in the candy shop. I can't remember what's Honey Dukes. Is that a candy shop? Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, I keep getting funds up, so like just being able to go in those shops and stuff and experience the films, but in a proper Hogwarts world. It was just it was fantastic, and they like pulled it out of the bag. I think there was a lot of hype around it when they first announced it, but I
Yeah.
also think there was like a lot of concern on like they need to get this right, otherwise people are going to hate it. And I think they got it spot on with how it plays and stuff. And hopefully they're working on a Hogwarts Legacy too. And yeah, definitely be a game I pick up if they do.
They must be because it's the first game since Call of Duty 4 to be the top selling game of the year over Call of Duty. Call of Duty
Yeah,
had such a streak since what 2007 or whatever the year that
Wow.
was,
Yeah.
and Hogwarts Legacy was the first one to come in and take that crown.
yeah.
And Warner
I hear a lot
Brothers,
of talk
Warner
on it.
Brothers love money, so they're going to do it. Um,
Which is even more insane when you consider that I think then since that point Call of Duty have retaken that title. So
yes,
the only time that's been taken off was for Hogwarts Legacy,
and
which is
potentially
wild.
will be the next time as well because
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just shows you
The-
how big the Harry Potter franchise is
A million
on its
percent.
own anyway.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, and yeah, just done so well.
Stephen, your game of the year for 23?
I wonder if we have
23.
another match. Yeah, if we have another match here, which again, this was another good year. I think that maybe 2023 wasn't as
I'm just going to
good as
pause you there. I'm going to say
2022.
we're going to have
Go
4
on.
out of 5, Stephen, I think, by the end of this.
You think? Okay. Because I looked at the games for 2023 and thought, do you know what? It wasn't as good as 2022.
I have
but,
to disagree. 23 is
well,
one of my best years in a long time.
but I suppose as well, I'm
Depends
looking
what
at it
games you
from
played.
I'm also looking at it from a PlayStation perspective because
Fair.
that was I
Fair.
didn't play PC and I got rid of my Xbox in 2022 I think after I had Forza Horizon 5 I got rid of it. So in terms of the PlayStation games there wasn't a massive array to choose from, but there is one that wins by some distance, and it is a little game called Marvel's Spider-Man 2, which I don't know if you've also picked, Welchy, as
I
your
have, yes.
winner. You have, okay. I remember buying the collector's edition, which was, I think, like
But did you get
I
the
want to
Venom
say that
statue? The 16
I
inches of
did get
Venom?
the Venom. Yeah, I did get the Venom statue. I saw that immediately. I think it was like coming in at nearly £200, but it was the best. Almost, it was either anywhere between 180 to 200. I can't remember the exact
That
figure,
was the
but
best ever post on that PlayStation ever made, where it says you can get 16 inches of Venom, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's kinky."
you reread that and you go, "Sorry, what?" I remember though the day that it came and it was huge, and I remember when Dad was
That's
sitting
what
in the
she
living
said.
room. Yeah, when Dad was sitting in the living room, I opened up and he went, "Is this for a game?" And I went, "Wait, there's not just a game in there. There is so much more in this box." And yeah, it stands. It's next to my Stranger Things Funko Pop collection, and the statue just looks insane. I also had obviously the Batman statue we spoke about when I got Batman Arkham Knight. I got the collector's edition of that, so I've got the rare collector's statue for Batman Arkham Knight on one side of the room, and then the Spider-Man one on the other side of the room. And it's just like, oh, the nerd in me is just like that is so complete. In terms of the game, I mean, my Spider-Man 2, if I have one critique, is I did have a number of glitches with Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I'm
So
the same.
I had this glitch where every time I went onto the game, I can't remember what it's called, like the accessibility would have all the different colors on. So like my Spider-Man would be in blue, the rest of the world would be red, like cars would be black, and I had to turn it off. So you could turn off there's something that they call it, but I can't
Yeah.
quite remember the name of it.
I know what you mean.
But every time I turned it off, then it was normal. And then when I restarted the game or closed the game, went back onto it, it would never save that setting, even now, because I still got the extra stuff that I want to go back to at some point to get 100% on it. It just doesn't remember those accessibility features, which is a bit annoying. But also, I found that when I was going through the skies of New York, my Spider-Man would just RKO to the floor when. Like I'd press L2 and R2 to swing, and he would just do a somersault to the floor. And good job that you turn off full damage, otherwise I'd have died a lot of times. I feel like mine's rare because like our friend James who played didn't have the problem. I don't know Welchy if you had any
Never,
problems like that.
never.
So I don't know why my Spider-Man 2,
Skill
yes,
issue.
still issue. And now that we have videos, people can actually see that. But it was frustrating because like when I played the original Spider-Man and Miles Morales, like he would just swing freely. And that was a bit frustrating. But take the glitches and the issues that I had aside, what a game. Like what a game. Like it builds on the promise of Spider-Man. Like we had Miles Morales, which I absolutely loved, but this was just like it was just perfection. Obviously, I won't say anything because I know at some point you're going to get around to playing it, but you're in for such like a treat in terms of like the Venom story arc as it is just incredible. There is one mission where you go to the fun fair, which is probably one of my favorite missions that I've ever played on any superhero game. It starts off so mundane, and I love the fact that you can. It's not really a spoiler, but you can go on play on all the rides and do the things where you've got to cook
Whoa,
the duck and well, it's not
that's a
really a
massive
spoiler.
spoiler.
Yeah, you can throw like the balls into the hoop and all of that kind of stuff. But the turn that mission takes about halfway through is just wild. And there are also some great set pieces with like the other characters like Mary Jane. And I think the end of the game is brilliant. I did find, I don't know about you, actually, the boss battle towards the end though was bloody tough. There's a sequence towards the end of the game that I really struggled with. Took
The
me
last fight.
uh was it the last? I think it might have been the last fight.
There's two stages
The
to it in two different areas, if that makes sense.
I think the second stage I found
Yeah.
quite easy. The first
Yes.
stage though,
Yeah.
it took me I think about an hour to get through it because I just like you are really put up against it. But I
I'm
like
waiting
that.
for
I
Andy
think
to
that
do it again.
yeah,
Yeah, I was
go
thinking
to it.
that.
Do one joke. We don't need a second one. But I did struggle with it. But again, I don't always think that's a bad thing. I think a game towards its later stages, if a
Should
boss
be
battle
harder,
becomes
yes. Yeah.
stupidly easy, then I'm like, well, what was the point of that?
Donkey
But
Kong.
this one actually, I had to like, I had to like stop and like because I was getting angry with it, and I was like, that's the worst thing you can do in boss battle. If you start getting annoyed at the fact that it's not going well, take a moment to compose yourself, breathe, and then go again. Um, like superb performances, great side stuff. I haven't even touched the surface on all of the other stuff that I've got to do, which I will go back and do. But yeah, just absolutely brilliant. And we had to wait a while for it, but I think it was a wait that was well worth it,
You say
minus the
that,
glitches.
but when you add Miles Morales in, there wasn't that long between the three of them because I think it was
No,
2018. 2 years later, you get Miles Morales. 3 years later, Spider-Man 2. It's not considering what we're getting with The Last of Us, for example.
true.
It's much
I think
bigger.
people really wanted it maybe like in 2022. So it was just that
Yeah.
because it came towards the end of 2023.
Yes,
Um,
October, I think. Yeah.
yeah, it was I can remember getting it on. I think I got it a day early actually, and then yeah, then played it. So I think it took me about a month and a bit to get through the main story, and then I said I've got all of the extra stuff to go back and do. Which apparently, if you do all the side stuff, it sets it up nicely for the third Spider-Man that is coming at some point. But yeah, what a game! What a game it is.
Yeah, it's my number one. We're definitely gonna have 4 out of 5, Stephen, because I know your next one.
We are.
But yeah, it is truly brilliant. I think it's my favorite ever version of Venom, best Venom story that I've experienced. I've not experienced every
Yeah,
comic or everything, but um,
no, agreed.
so far it is my favorite Venom story by quite a way. Um, there's so many good moments in this game, so many cool fights. There's so many things I can't spoil, Andy. I'd love to tell you about them, but you need to experience them for yourself. Obviously,
Yeah,
being able
definitely.
a game where you can play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, perfect, and they handled it
Yeah.
perfectly. The introduction to that game is one of the best introductions to a game in recent memories, other than God of War games.
Yes.
That
Yes.
first fight at the beginning is so good, and I don't want to spoil things, but like there's one moment where you get chucked away, and then the way Miles Morales brings himself back, it's just like, oh, you're just like, oh, let's fucking
Yeah.
go. This is so good.
And also the idea that you press L1 and you can just instantly swap from Spider-Man to
Yeah,
Miles, and it's so seamlessly done.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
But yeah, it's just fantastic. The story is fantastic. You mentioned Venom, I mentioned Venom as well, but Craven is so good in this. Again, we had a
Yes.
Craven film last year, which was okay, but this Craven was
Mm.
phenomenal. This is kind of, I think the game kind of ruined the film because everyone's like, we've got this Craven, what are you going to do next? And the film just didn't live up to that.
It It is the best Craven that I've ever seen. I don't think anything will be topped. And
It's
also,
hard.
I forgot because there's so many great bits of the game. It's really hard to condense it all down. But now that you've mentioned Craven, he's brutal.
He's so
He's
good.
dark. And I think out of all three, it is the darkest like story
Yeah.
in the spot
Oh
in
yeah,
out of
by and away.
Spider-Man's Miles Morales, and because of when you get that introduction to Craven, because there's a bit again won't spoil, but there's something that happens when you first meet him for the first time, which I went, oh shit, this Craven's not fucking around. He's actually gonna be what I would expect from Craven, which is like why I thought the film was like ridiculous because that's what Craven absolutely should be, and the game absolutely nails that.
Completely off topic, but the Sony movies, the problem with the Sony movies is that they're making villains not the villain.
Yeah,
Having Venom as the main character and the person you're supposed to like and find funny doesn't work as well as just having him as this big bad villain. He's just so much cooler as a big bad, and the same goes for Craven. But yeah, the
yeah,
game handles both those characters superbly. Um, it's also going back way back. One of the most hyped trailers they ever made was when they showed off Spider-Man 2 for the first time. I was like, let's, and the way
yeah.
they revealed Venom for that, I was like, this is going to be one of the best games ever, and it is for me. It is that good. I absolutely love this
It
game.
it's a shame about Insomniac because I remember again it's slightly off topic, but it's connected that around the same time we then got the Wolverine trailer for the
It
first
was
time,
the
and I
same.
remember
It was the
seeing
same.
that
It was the
trailer.
same state of play.
Yeah. Oh, it was, wasn't
It
it?
was
Oh
unbelievable
shit,
because
yeah.
everyone was like, "You
Uh,
don't do two in one show," and they did. I
Yeah.
think they
But
regret
and
that now, though.
I remember seeing the clause and be like, oh shit, it's gonna be like a dark fucking Wolverine game. And then obviously they had the hack, which I generally believe had that not happened to Insomniac, I think we have a Wolverine game now that we'd be playing. I generally believe that it was closer
I
to
have a feeling
release.
we would have, but we wouldn't have liked it. I have a feeling because
Do you
when
not think?
I looked at some of the leaks, and when I was watching the Wolverine gameplay, I was like, "This is just Spider-Man but with a different skin." And that's not what
Oh,
I want
okay.
from Wolverine. I want a darker, grittier, almost like basically,
What
really, if I was making a Wolverine game, I would have given it to Naughty Dog, personally. That's the developer for that game in my mind.
what what you also want is a Wolverine game that was similar to like the Deadpool game, which I think they made in 2009 for the Xbox 360, which was like an 18 rated.
Hmm.
Like Wolverine used his claws for intended purposes, which we hadn't got up until then when we got Logan. But yeah, you want a darker, grittier, and I kind of thought or hoped that Insomniac do that, but
It wasn't
now
looking like it, but I'm hoping the
no,
hack and all the comments they had after the hack is they've gone, ah, shit, yeah, they got a point. We should change this.
yeah,
And obviously, there was a, there was that silly rumor that went around saying that they were going to change their name to the Marvel Studio, which is wrong. But looking at their lineup of games, they were basically just doing X-Men, all the Marvel games.
yeah.
But they were on such a run. They was releasing Spider-Man games so quickly with a Ratchet and Clank in there as well. And since the hack, they've just kind of fell off a cliff, which is a shame. But hopefully they'll
It's
be
a
back
sad,
soon.
let's see. Yeah.
Um, I'll start with honorable mentions because this is one of my favorite years for gaming in a long time. I'll start with a game that Andy has to play. You have to play these games, Andy. Jedi Survivor.
Yes, I know.
Oh
I'm
my
working
God.
through
If there's ever
things.
been a game made for Andy, it's the Jedi games. They're so bloody good.
I started that though, and I got because I got lost in the first bit, and couldn't find out how to get back to where I needed to go, and I couldn't go back to where I came. I got frustrated and was
To be
like, oh
fair, they have notoriously have the worst maps in ever games, like ever. Like the maps are
yeah.
so
I
bad in those
literally
games.
couldn't figure out
Yeah.
where to go.
Did you
But
not
they're
find it
fantastic.
on like line? Did it not help
I
you?
I can't remember if I looked or not, or whether
You just
I
gave
was
up. Yeah.
actually glitched. Yeah, whether I looked or if it was like an
Oh,
actual glitch that happened where I couldn't go onto the next part. Um, but yeah, either way, I got frustrated. I was like, oh, fuck this. I tried it a couple of times.
You would love those games, Andy,
But
and particularly Jedi Survivor, the second one. The story in that
yeah,
game and the moments in that game are so good. Um, Another game, again, actually a recommendation for Andy. If you like the Expedition 33, this game's not as good as that. Or spoiler for this podcast, but Sea of Stars. So Sea of Stars is a turn-based game. It's animated more. It's more like a pixel art, but it's not quite pixel art, but a little bit pixel art. Oh.
okay.
Um, and why I say it's similar is because it's turn-based, but it keeps you involved. You have to parry things and you have to like
Yeah,
do certain things. Um, It's got a very good story. It's really fun, really good game. I'd recommend that one. Lies
Okay,
of
I'll
P.
add it to my list.
Lies of P makes my top 5 for the year, and I hate Souls games.
I didn't know it was a Souls-like game until obviously you and Biggs both said to play it, and then I was looking at it earlier. I was like, oh fucking hell, it's a Souls game. You guys really want to make me work.
It's tough, but it's doable. I can't remember why it's doable. There's a reason why it's doable because I did it. If I do it, anyone could do it.
Yeah.
But it's really good. It's loosely, well, it's based off Pinocchio, so like a lot of the characters and things you see are from Pinocchio. Um,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, that's what it's based. The Lies of Pinocchio. Um, yeah, I
Makes
think you'd like
sense.
that. Basically, all these been recommendations for you. But the next one's for
Yeah.
you, Stephen. Alan Wake 2.
Yes, which I've got, and it's on my list to do.
Fantastic video game. I won't spoil anything, but this is much scarier than the first one, and they've definitely delved into the horror side rather than the more
Yeah,
action
my pal
oriented.
be Alan Wake Control and then Alan Wake 2. I just need to find time to do those games in order.
Yeah, in terms of story, you wouldn't have to do that. Obviously, you would for Alan Wake 1 to 2. Control, even though it's in the same universe, I don't think you'd have to play it, if that makes sense, to understand Alan Wake 2 or anything.
Okay.
You don't have to. Obviously, by all means, do it. I did that as well. Dead Space Remaster, of course, fantastic remaster. Mortal Kombat 1. Starfield by Bethesda, the highly anticipated game from the Fallout developers. It was a fun game, really good story. Hi-Fi Rush, again, a game that came out of nowhere and surprised everyone. Hogwarts Legacy, Andy, obviously. Cocoon is a really, really good puzzle game, which I recommend if you like puzzle games. RoboQuest, have I spoke about this game before? I might have spoke about it like when I was doing the podcast on my own, maybe.
I don't remember it.
It's another roguelike game, so you're doing runs and you're trying to get as far as you can and beat it. I got very close to the end, never actually did it, but it's a first-person shooter one. It's really fast-paced. It's really fun. Don't know if it's even on PlayStation. It's definitely on Xbox. But then, as I said, the list keeps going. Planet of Lana, fun puzzle game. I think that was announced as a new one, wasn't there, at one of the things we watched recently. That surprised me. Horizon Forbidden West, Burning Shores, the DLC, is definitely worth a play. And the only other one I'm going to mention is a game called Venba. Venba is a cooking game. It takes you about 3 hours to beat. When I watched the Kind of Funny guys and they had the developer come on, I think this was made by like 2 or 3 people or something. But it's a very cool game, very emotional. It can be done in 3 hours. I highly recommend that if you ever get the chance.
An emotional cooking game.
I say cooking. It's hard to explain. Basically, you have to
Have you
play it
played
to
Overcooked?
understand. It's not overcooked.
Okay. No, but
Do you-
Overcooked is emotional between each
That's a
other.
different kind of emotion.
Yeah.
You get upset because you've overcooked your peas or something.
You
like-
basically follow the life. You start off as you play as a mum with a kid. Basically, you follow a family. You see them as 2 adults and a young child, and then by the end of the game, it's 2 adults and an older child, or an adult.
Right.
Again. But you kind of see their story progressing, but it's linked to food. Like the actual gameplay mechanic is based on cooking.
Okay.
But there's like a story behind it which is going on, which is it's worth a go. It's not mind blowing, but it's a nice story, more
Okay.
emotional story.
Interesting.
So quite a lot there. I love 2023. It was a great year for games. Andy, what you got?
Just wrote down one other game, and we did mention it earlier because of Minecraft Dungeons, and that is Diablo 4.
Diablo,
So
yes.
obviously I played it last year. I love Diablo 3. And yeah, it's pretty much sort of what I remember from Diablo 3, just a different story. But yeah, same mechanics in terms of when you're watching like YouTube videos of Diablo, I always think it looks fucking crazy, and like it's one of those games that someone would get scared by seeing what's happening on the screen. But when you're actually playing it, it's a lot more controlled in terms of the chaos. It's just an easy game to like play through, and it's kind of button bash, but button bash again with sort of you know what your abilities are and what you're doing sort of thing, but it almost looks like you are button bashing. And it actually had a really cool story with the characters, and I think Diablo 3, I really liked the story with that one as well. But yeah, that was the only other game I think I played from potentially that year. So yeah, that was my other my only nomination.
And
All right, what did you pick to win again?
Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts.
Oh, right. Gotcha. My honorable mentions are, let me go on to it. So I had Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I had ESC 24. I also had Texas Chainsaw Massacre the game, which is another like sort of in the similar way of like, the Friday the 13th game where you
Yeah,
go
the
onto multiplayer
what you call it,
and you're just
asymmetrical 1v4 kind of, yeah.
yeah, you're basically running from Leatherface. Like it's not anything really to shout about, but like it was fun to play. I would love these kind of games to be story driven games, like set in the same movie universe and having that kind of aesthetic, like what like Outlast does in that sort of sense. But it tends to be that they go down that multiplayer route more than story based. So each their own. And just a couple more. I had SpongeBob SquarePants: The Cosmic Shake, which it's just a bit of a guilty pleasure game, really. It brings up my inner child and just reminds me of how much I love SpongeBob. And I have it as a again like a dishonorable mention because I don't think the game is great, but it had great set pieces in. And there's a piece of music which I've mentioned before about it's such a cool bit. It's Gotham Knights, which again completed. I didn't particularly enjoy, and it should have been a lot better than what it actually was. I remember like vividly thinking that the Batman is dead, so I was like, this is going to be a continuation from Arkham Knight, and it's like something completely separate. Didn't hit the mark, but I think when you've got a high level of what the Arkham games have done, I don't think there's been anything from Rocksteady or Warner Bros. Montreal that have hit the same heights. I hope that we get that at some point. So enjoyable, but one that I was happy that it was over because it wasn't great overall, but has a great prison sequence with Harley Quinn that is really fun.
And that leads us on finally to 2024, which is an interesting one because we did a podcast all about 2024, so we probably don't have to spend that much
Yeah.
time on it. But Stephen,
Yeah.
go on then. Tell us what it is.
There's only one, and it is a little game called Astrobot, which we have spoken at length about. I think the only thing I'll add to it is that we look at these years, 2020 to 2024. For me, Astrobot is the most fun that I've had in a video game. All of these games are great, but if you're saying to me, when were you at your most enjoyable, most fun, smiling the whole way through from the first shot of the menu to the end of the game, it is Astrobot. Even in those moments where like some of the challenges were quite difficult, the Great Master Challenge was stressful, I still had a smile on my face and more so to be determined to beat those. I'm hoping next month they're going to announce the new Astrobot controller that's got something different on it because I need that. And I'm actually not playing the new levels. I've done the first one, but in my head, I'm like, I'm going to save the four until I've got that controller in my hand because how cool would it be to play those Astrobot levels with the Astrobot controller? So that's kind of in my thought process. But yeah, like got it as a platinum. Astro's Playroom is a platinum as well. Like I just love I love Astro, and I can't recommend enough how amazing Astrobot is as just a complete game. It is one of my all-time favorite games by some way. It is that good.
Yeah, as I said, 4 out of 5, Stephen. We've got a match. Astrobot was phenomenal. Some of my favorite moments from last year were from that game and from the last many years. I don't think it's a spoiler now, but I won't do it anyway. But there's moments when you think you finished like a section of the game, then there's like an extra level based on another game in the PlayStation
Yeah,
world. And every time they did that, I was like, this is so bloody good. And one in particular, which I really, really love, just hit every spot, and it was just so good. But yeah,
yeah,
it's challenging, but it's a fun challenge. I got a platinum as well. It was really fun to try and get that, and they continue to support it. Like they literally supported it last month with not new modes, but new courses. When that
yeah,
will stop, I don't know. They're gonna have to make a sequel at some point because I imagine they're going to. Um, and to think that this started as a VR game years ago, then they obviously introduced Playroom, and now its own standalone massive Astrobot game. It is special. It's a special game. I think it won Game of the Year at Game Awards, and I think a lot of people were like, "How did that win over something like Wukong? Is that what it's called? Whatever it was called."
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think people just see this kind of game and go, "Oh, it's a kids' game." It's so much more than that. It's so clever. The designs of the
It
puzzles and the worlds and the levels, it's so clever, so fun, and yeah, it's every time you pick it up, it might take a minute to get used to it again and the buttons and stuff, but it's just so fun. And at the end of the day, what do you play games for? Most of the time, it's to have
yeah,
fun.
You got to
and
say
like
it.
It's a joy to play, Andy.
You got, yeah, thank you.
it's like the dual sense. It's utilized it to its absolute max, like the audio design of it, and also like being a gamer. Astrobot is like a love letter to
To
video games,
PlayStation, a
PlayStation
million
history.
percent, yeah.
Like it just hits well. I mean, obviously, Andy, you've played the Uncharted level around mine, so
Yeah.
you've had a bit of a taste of it, and like there will be other ones which again I'm not going to spoil for people that haven't picked it up, but like for me, there's one that I will go back and play because I've now played both games, and I feel like that's going to hit even more than when I played it first time around. I need to do that, so I'll look at that level again at some point. But yeah, I mean, as I said, you want to play video games, have fun, and when you're doing story-based ones like horrors, you're having fun, but you're getting immersed into a really mature story. It's a different kind of fun to what Astrobot gives you, and it's just like it unleashes that big kid in you, and that's what I love about it. And it makes you forget about any worries, any problems. You just play Astrobot, and you forget about that. It's just so upbeat, and I love games that do that. And it is an absolute masterpiece.
That leads us to Andy. What are you going to pick for your game of the year for 24? We know what it was in the podcast, but obviously you might have played new games since then.
I was debating switching it up, but I have decided to stick with what I initially chose for 2024 just because I did enjoy it a lot at the time. Although I've gone off, haven't played it for a while, but it is Marvel Rivals. So yeah, at the time that dropped, obviously being a massive Marvel fan, being able to play as these characters and the way that they done the game modes, the mechanics of each character, I thought they'd done really well. I know obviously recently, Welchy, you've jumped back onto it because of obviously the Marvel films that have come out, of Fantastic Four in particular, and introducing new characters as these sort of films come out and stuff. I did play it with the first two when the first two dropped, so Mr.
Miss Fantastic and Invisible Woman.
Invisible Woman. I haven't played it since when they've introduced Human Torch and Thing, although I did watch you using the Thing. Yeah, it was just such a fun game to play, jump on and play with friends, learning all the new sort of abilities and how to use those different characters and their combinations. Once you realize how to use a particular character, there is a lot of strategy in it in terms of sort of the combination of moves that you use against players. And then also, if you're playing as a team, sort of working together to sort of do this, depending on which game mode it is, to do the objective. I think it is very much a team-based game. And if you have one player on your team that's particularly not pulling their weight, then it can seriously impact on how well you do, unless you've got 5 very strong players on your team. But yeah, I just remember having a lot of fun on it. And it was like, I think it was potentially like one of the first games where I did sort of, you're able to use a range of different Marvel characters and stuff. I know they've done an Avengers game before, but I don't think that went down particularly well. But yeah, so it was the first game for me, other than, did I play this after Spider-Man or before Spider-Man? First one. But yeah, being able to use sort of different Marvel characters and just having a lot of fun with them, jumping in. The games were quick and easy. It was just something nice to jump on after work and play. So yeah, that I've decided to stick with it as my number one, but there was a couple of other choices in there that for this year.
Let's stick with you then, Andy. What are your honorable mentions?
The game that I was actually close to switching it to was Black Ops 6, and not because of the multiplayer. I know a lot of people rave about the multiplayer saying it's got a lot better with Black Ops 6. For me, it's sort of still similar to sort of COD, the multiplayer CODs that we've had in the past few years anyway, just because I really like the futuristic CODs. I want to go back to them at some point. But yeah, just based on the campaign, the way that the campaign was, it was the first time that I'd played a COD campaign since maybe like Ghosts. So jumping on it, it was how dark they managed to make the campaign with, obviously we mentioned it before in the podcast, the sort of almost horror elements in some of the missions. with the zombie one in particular, and the mannequins. I still see those like, and I remember sort of watching it for the first time, sitting on TikTok, thinking like, "What the hell is this game?" And then realizing it's Black Ops 6, like, what the fuck?
One that you've got to deal with.
Yeah. So that actually obviously piqued my interest when I saw that, and then thought, okay, let's play the campaign, and then yeah, got through it. It was a great story. I think they done it really well, so that was close to being first. The other ones, games, obviously a new one that I didn't play at the time, Electro. Played that since now, and yeah, when I first downloaded it, did get a bit addictive. Sort of trying to complete a run, which I struggled to do, and then actually done it on my 24-hour stream recently, so managed to tick that off. The other one was Life is Strange Double Exposure, although it wasn't as good as the first one. I still really enjoyed the story and sort of the new abilities that they introduced, and I think there's going to be potentially more to that story as well in a future game. And then another game that I haven't played as much of, but the gaming moments that we did have, I did really enjoy, and hopefully play more of it if people play it. But that was Helldivers too. So yeah, up there as well.
Good choices. Stephen, what were yours?
So I had Call of Duty Black Ops 6 a second as well. Completely echo everything that Andy said. Great campaign. I love the multiplayer. I really got back into it, and I equally also love the zombies. So yeah, Black Ops 6 was a real return to form for me. I had EFC 25. Now these next two are like ones that are more dishonorable mentions, but I've included them anyway because I did play. Well, one I played a lot of, and the other I'm still gonna try and complete. I've got Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. It's on my list to go back and do, but I'm already the bit that I have played, which is like the first hour and a half. I'm not feeling it, but I'm gonna persevere and get it done because I've done all the other Rocksteady games. I had to put down Funko Fusion. I absolutely hated it, but I spent 30 hours on that fucking game, so it needs a mention here. And that is probably one of the worst games I've played, and just awful. Also, South Park Snow Day, which again, I absolutely was so excited to play, and that was equally awful. But I don't know if this was 2023 or 2024, but I loved it. It was RoboCop Rogue City, which
I
was
think that was last
set
year.
to the original RoboCop. I think it was 2024. I can't work out if it was right at the end of 23 or beginning of 24, whatever it may be. But I really enjoyed that. I got really excited this year because I thought they were doing a sequel, and then turned out that it was just DLC that you could buy on disc. So that kind of shattered my heart.
It was 23.
It was 23. Okay, so it would have been on my honorable mentions for 2023, but really enjoyable campaign. Like, if you like the RoboCop movies and you like a third-person action shooter where you feel pretty much indestructible, and you like 80s nostalgia, I can't recommend it enough. And yeah, that's pretty much my 2024. Like I said, if Astrobot hadn't hit, I probably would have gone with a Call of Duty title for 2024. But it just shows you how amazing Astrobot was that nothing comes close to that.
For me, one game did come close, and that was Balatro. I've spoke about it. That game, I decided to play on a mobile phone, and that was very dangerous because that almost ruined my life. And then as soon as I deleted off my mobile, it was like, "Oh, do you want it on Game Pass?" I was like, "Oh, fucking all right, fine if I have to." And it's obviously on PlayStation Plus now as well. But yeah, absolutely loved that game. It took me by surprise. Didn't think it. I heard it was good, but when you hear things, you're thinking, yeah, but I don't really like card games, and card games keep
Yeah.
surprising me. They keep surprising me. And speaking of card games, Andy, you forgot a game on your list.
What was that, sorry?
You forgot a game on your list. Pokemon Trading
You're gonna,
Card Game
yeah,
Pocket. Yeah,
it's because I've got off, like, I haven't played it
I haven't played it either.
in ages
Yeah,
now, but yeah, at the time, obviously, it
so
was
good.
nice
Yeah,
to play. It was something new. So yeah, that would have. There's probably other games that I missed out as well that I would have mentioned on the
yeah.
podcast. Things like Plucky Squire. I don't know if that was
It
2024
was.
or if
Yeah,
I just
Plucky
played it.
Squire is in there. The game that would come third after Balatro is Helldivers 2. A fantastic game, and
Yeah.
at some point, Andy, hopefully we can go back and play it at some point. Black Ops 6, Silent Hill 2 remake, which was fantastic, absolutely brilliant game.
On my list.
Indiana Jones was a good game, and
Also on my list.
a good success for Xbox to finally have a good, proper story-driven game. Marvel Rivals, as I said, Pokemon Pocket. Fear the Spotlight. Obviously, I did the YouTube Let's Play of
Oh
that
yeah.
game. That was a fun
I
game.
pretty much played it. I watched all of that.
Yeah, yeah, true. Still Wakes the Deep, a fun, really fun and creepy horror game with a full Scottish cast, which was a nice, refreshing game to play. Hellblade: Senua's Saga, which is Hellblade 2. Obviously, you mentioned Plucky
It's
Squire,
now on
Andy.
PlayStation.
Is it?
Oh, it's coming soon,
Yeah,
isn't
maybe
it?
it's coming soon to PlayStation. Yeah.
I've seen it on PlayStation Store. So
Shit, man, what a game. Star Wars Outlaws. I guess a lot of hate, but it wasn't that bad. It was a pretty good game. And then Tales of Kunzera, stuff like that, which also
yeah,
came out.
games I would have mentioned.
And
Yeah.
another one. There's some games that did come out that were horrendous that I will not mention. But yeah, that is our favorite games from 2020 to 2024. We did have I say a listener comment. It's Jack, who has obviously been on the podcast multiple times, but he did write in with his games on Discord. He said he didn't pick games for each year, but he said from the years that we're doing, the ones he could think of were Elden Ring, which I think a lot of people in the general public would pick, Wukong,
Yeah.
which I mentioned a bit earlier, and God of War Ragnarok.
Makes
Which
sense.
I think two of those, I think Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok both 22, and then Wukong 24. So
Yeah.
understand your choices, Jack. I've only played Ragnarok out of those, but I know that the general opinion on the other games are also very good. And that is it for this week. We're not doing what we've been playing because we haven't been playing much other than what me and Andy are going to speak about next week or last week,
Yeah.
which is so weird to say still. But by the time we record another one, we'd have played a lot more. Stephen would have played more Mafia, and Sword of the Sea would be out. So there's a lot to talk about soon. But for now, we're going to wrap it up. Obviously, let us know in the comments on YouTube or Spotify or on our Discord channel what were your favorite games from 2020 to 2024. You can still write in and we'll read them out next time because a lot of good games, as we mentioned. It took us... This is 2 hour recording? Oh my God, we're at 2 hours recording. This is a long podcast. We need to wrap this up. I cannot believe we're at 2 hours. I just saw the time and thought it said 2 minutes. And I was like, oh, fuck, I've ruined it.
Oh, no.
But no, let's wrap it up. Before we go, Andy, what was... that's not your favourite game. Andy, where can people follow you?
So they can find me over on Twitch at Andy_White_07. Obviously, the time that this podcast would have come out, I would have streamed Expedition 33 and completed it, and also completed Mafia, both on stream. And yeah, don't know what my next game will be yet. And also you can find us over on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, either at AB Collectibles or AB Collectibles 24. And we upload stuff to do with Funko Pops. And last video was a giveaway win. Might be something new since then, but last video, time of recording, was a giveaway win unboxing. So yeah, check that out. Thank you very much.
And Stephen, where can people follow you?
Yeah, just on my TikTok at DJ Breakfast. If I recall rightly, ours also would have started when this is released.
Yes.
I believe, yes.
Yeah.
So Arsenal would have beaten Man United by 6-0, and I'd be praising it all about the 4 goals that York has scored. There'll other be TikTok stuff that I've done throughout my summer travels as well, so stay tuned for that. And on my YouTube of the same name, if you want to see the best bits or info of our 24-hour gaming stream. There won't be anything on that YouTube channel for a while, so that's as good as it's going to get on that front. But yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks again for tuning in to the Late Night Gamer podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, please give us a follow, leave a rating, and tell a friend about us, as it goes a long way. You can follow us on all social medias with the handle at the LNG Pod. Next week we are... That's not right. My full review of Donkey Kong. I've not changed this in a while. Next week, trying to think where we are. Next week we will be back with my Sword of the Sea review, and most likely Stephen's Mafia review as well. Mafia the Old Country, I should say. If all things go well and we both beat those games in time. Until then, I have been your host, Welchy, and my guests have been Andy.
Yeah, thank you guys. As always, been a pleasure. And yeah, can't wait. Looking forward to the next podcast.
And Stephen.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Always great talking about our favourite games, and looking forward to the next one as well.
Thank you all for watching. Apologies that it's 2 hours long, and keep on gaming.